Chapter 1047, Resistance. However, what shocked him was that not only did Wang Lin's body not collapse, but he didn't even immediately die. That shield that suddenly appeared had cancelled out 70% of his power. However, just the remaining 30% was enough to kill this Wang Lin, and what shocked Master Void was that this 30% portion only made Wang Lin cough out blood. Wang Lin only ended up seriously injured, and not dead. Wang Lin floated in the air as the ripple raged inside his body and charged at his origin soul. Although Wang Lin's origin soul had the ancient god leather armor, the vibration still caused his origin soul to become bleak. He coughed out another large mouthful of blood and his body was violently thrown back. The pain from his body showed that even with his ancient god body, he was seriously injured. However, Wang Lin's gaze was still calm as he stared at Master Void. When he was thrown again, he landed at the center of the gaze of the two statues in the hall. "You didn't die? Let me fix that." Killing intent appeared in Master Void's eyes. He vaguely felt like there was something wrong with the location Wang Lin was in. He lifted his right hand and mercilessly slammed down toward Wang Lin. In his mind, he would definitely kill Wang Lin with this attack. A rumble echoed within the hall when Master Void attacked Wang Lin. A yellow sandstorm appeared and charged at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression was still calm, and there was even a hint of ridicule in it. He knew that he was not Master Void's opponent. Wang Lin felt that this person had ill intent toward him back at the Celestial Burial Pool. After learning about his Vermilion Bird awakening, Wang Lin was 80% sure this person had the intention to kill him. Now that they were so close within the hall, Master Void would definitely reveal his killing intent. Wang Lin understood that it was futile to resist with his current strength. Fortunately, he had vaguely found the entrance to the second floor. He simply borrowed the attack to be thrown to this position. In addition, he had built a killing formation in this short period of time. The target was Master Void. If others don't mess with him, he won't mess with them. If Master Void hadn't attacked, Wang Lin wouldn't have used this killing formation. But since the other party had attacked, then Wang Lin wouldn't simply do nothing. Even if I can kill you, I must leave behind a deep impression. Wang Lin's hand formed the same seal as the two statues. At this moment, purple light came from the gazes of the two statues. The two rays of purple light charged out and circled Wang Lin, forming a vortex. Wang Lin's body was dragged toward the vortex. However, Master Void had cultivated for a very long time, so he naturally had strong intuition and immediately realized that there was something wrong with where Wang Lin landed. So he immediately added an attack. The sandstorm formed by his spell charged at Wang Lin inside the vortex. If Wang Lin moved according to the speed of the vortex, then the sandstorm would arrive, and Wang Lin would die before he could enter. Master Void charged at Wang Lin. There was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes. The moment the sandstorm closed in, his third eye opened up. Wang Lin's third eye was his strongest spell, and it was something he wouldn't dare to casually use. However, with Master Void closing in and facing this life and death crisis, he opened it without hesitation. Master Void. Killing intent filled Wang Lin's eyes as he let out a roar. The vertical third eye opened, and the red light from within opened up like a fan. The moment Wang Lin's third eye opened, Master Void's calm expression changed for the first time. It wasn't just a small change. It looked like his world had just been flipped upside down. Source origin. Master Void's eyes were filled with disbelief, but were then filled with ecstasy. At this moment, he forgot about the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect and the Cultivation Alliance. The only thing in front of him was the source origin that came out of Wang Lin's third eye. Not only his, but even the expression of the man in black changed greatly. He stared at Wang Lin with shining eyes filled with disbelief. Only the beautiful woman revealed a strange expression that didn't contain any greed. She looked at Wang Lin and frowned. The source origin filled the red light, and the red light collided with the sandstorm. The sandstorm trembled, and even though it contained the power of a Nirvana Shatterer cultivator, it rapidly dissipated. Wang Lin felt pain from between his eyebrows. He originally didn't have much source origin left, and it was rapidly dissipating when facing off against the sandstorm. However, he didn't withdraw it, and instead, with eyes filled with killing intent, the source origin poured out from his third eye. Wang Lin knew in his heart how important Source Origin was to people who were seeking the third step, so he knew that Master Void would take the bait. The red light expanded greatly, and the sandstorm immediately collapsed. The Source Origin shot out from the red light and went straight at Master Void. Master Void's expression changed, but the greed in his eyes became even stronger. He wanted to dodge it, but he was unwilling to give up a 1 in 10,000 chance to feel Source Origin personally. With this hesitation, the red light from Wang Lin's third eye surrounded Master Void. At this moment, Master Void's body seemed to be peeled away layer by layer and turned half transparent. Source Origin, Source Origin. Master Void's eyes were filled with greed, and his divine sense spread out and observed the Source Origin. He completely ignored the fact that he was in a battle right now, as Wang Lin was simply too insignificant in his eyes. He was confident he could understand this Source Origin, and once he did, his old heart suddenly felt like he was in the prime of his youth, and his face became even more agitated. He could have never dreamed that he would encounter the legendary Source Origin that was rumored to be the key to reaching the third step. And it happened when he was only trying to eradicate a possible future danger. Wang Lin's body slowly sank into the purple vortex, but the killing intent in his eyes increased greatly. He had already laid out the killing formation, and Master Void had entered it. Now the only thing left was for him to act. He slapped his bag of holding, and a sword sheath appeared in his hand, and inside the sheath was an iron sword. Wang Lin's eyes became very cold as he held the sword's handle. Aimlessly wishing for the like button for the video. Chapter 1048, Precious Treasure. The moment Wang Lin held the iron sword, all the killing intent from his eyes completely disappeared, and his eyes were as calm as water. It was as if all this killing intent he had toward Master Void was absorbed by the iron sword. However, this gaze without any killing intent was several times more terrifying than the gaze with monstrous killing intent. Wang Lin vaguely felt that the iron sword had its own spirit, and it was about to awaken at this moment. When it awakened, it was going to release a power that could destroy the world. The beautiful woman was still staring at Wang Lin. The moment Wang Lin took out the sword sheath, she frowned, still not recognizing what it was. However, the moment Wang Lin's gaze became calm, her eyes suddenly widened and filled with disbelief as a trace of her memory was jogged. There was also the man in black. His gaze also landed on the sword sheath in Wang Lin's hand, and his pupils violently shrank. Wang Lin's eyes were calm as he held the sword handle and suddenly pulled it out. When the iron sword left the sword sheath, a terrifying aura surged out. This aura was very strong. The moment it appeared, even crackling sounds came from the hall, as if it was going to collapse. Countless cracks appeared on the two statues next to Wang Lin in the blink of an eye, making it seem like they were going to shatter at any moment. In just an instant, the iron sword came out from the sword sheath completely. Wang Lin didn't hesitate to raise the iron sword and mercilessly chop down at Master Void, who was still immersed in comprehending the Source Origin. Master Void originally didn't consider Wang Lin a threat at all. In his eyes, Wang Lin was merely an ant. His divine sense quickly spread out around the Source Origin and attempted to find out the secret of creating Source Origin. His intuition told him that if he could find the answer, that meant he could find the right path to the third step. The more he thought about this, the more excited he became. He could even hear his own heartbeat accelerating. However, just as he was rapidly comprehending and was just about to find a clue, his body immediately went cold, and the feeling of a life-and-death crisis was upon him. This feeling of a life-and-death crisis was no weaker than the collapse of the celestial burial pool. In fact, it was several times stronger than that collapse. Master Void even felt like this aura was a bit familiar. His pupils shrank as he stared at the iron sword in Wang Lin's hand. Pseudo-Nirvana Void Treasure. Although the sword didn't leave Wang Lin's hand, the illusion of a giant, 100,000-foot-long silver sword appeared between Wang Li and Master Void. This large sword was completely made of silver light and gave off a harsh glow. The moment it appeared, it mercilessly smashed down on Master Void. Master Void sucked in a breath of cold air and his eyes filled with shock. He didn't have time to dodge at all. Wang Lin's timing was very good, and that was the key of this killing formation. The silver sword was too fast, far faster than a Nirvana Shatterer cultivator could cast a spell. The silver light smashed into Master Void's chest. Just at this instant, Master Void's origin soul came out of his body at an unimaginable speed and surrounded his body. Master Void's body shined purple, and his origin soul was completely purple. An ordinary cultivator's origin soul was very fragile, so they relied on their physical body. However, when you reach a high cultivation level like Master Void, your origin soul will be far stronger than your body. Master Void surrounded his body with his origin soul to block the silver sword. The silver light flashed violently and Master Void's body trembled, and his face turned red before coughed out blood. His origin soul trembled before returning into his body. Master Void's revealed a hideous expression he had never revealed before, and popping sounds came from inside his body. He was pushed back, but he forced himself to stop, so he stayed within the source origin. This allowed the source origin to invade his body, making his injuries even worse. Little bastard, even with a pseudo-nirvana void treasure, you don't have the qualifications to kill me. Master Void's eyes narrowed as he mercilessly clawed at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's face was pale as his origin energy had left his body and went into the iron sword like crazy. He had already checked the iron sword before and knew that he could use it without refining it. This iron sword that was very different from traditional treasures confused Wang Lin. However, to complete the killing formation, he set use to it without any hesitation. Wang Lin was already prepared for it to absorb his origin energy. Although a large amount of origin energy was leaving his body, he didn't panic and remained calm. The moment Master Void clawed at Wang Lin lifted the iron sword once more and took a deep breath. Origin energy surged out from his body as the sword was covered in a silver light once more and he slashed down. The silver light was bright when Master Void's right hand violently waved backward, and his expression became extremely gloomy. He was a bit anxious now as being inside the source origin meant he would constantly be attacked by it, even though it didn't hurt much. In comparison, this amount of source origin wasn't even 1/10,000th of his origin energy. But just this small amount of source origin required a majority of his origin energy to resist. He also had to immerse his entire mind to comprehend it while resisting it. Before, Master Void didn't consider Wang Lin a threat, but he never expected Wang Lin to have a pseudo-nirvana void treasure. As a result, he had to pay attention, but he was unwilling to give up this chance to comprehend source origin. His killing intent toward Wang Lin had reached a limit. I only need 7 more minutes and I am confident I can understand the mystery behind this source origin. Master Void slapped his bag of holding and a purple ice cube appeared in his hand. The moment the ice cube appeared, the entire hall was enveloped in an icy chill. Feeling his heart ache, a portion of Master Void's origin soul split to form another Master Void. Then that body swallowed the purple ice cube and charged at Wang Lin like a bolt of lightning. Wang Lin waved the iron sword, and with a flash of silver light the illusion of the giant silver sword appeared once more. The sword shot toward Master Void's origin soul avatar. The avatar formed a seal and pointed at the giant sword. There was a loud bang and the avatar was pushed back. The avatar dimmed greatly, but the illusionary sword also collapsed. The moment the purple ice cube appeared, Wang Lin felt an aura similar to that of his iron sword and esteemed Xuan Bao Saro. It was obvious that the purple ice cube was also a pseudo-nirvana void treasure. At this moment, Wang Lin had lost a large amount of origin energy in his body, but right now it wasn't the time to worry about his origin energy. The killing formation had already begun, and Wang Lin was unwilling to give it up. He had used the source origin as bait to set up this killing formation. If he couldn't kill or cause some serious injuries to Master Void, it would be considered a failure on his planning. Not only did he expose his source origin, but he even exposed his pseudo-nirvana void treasure. However, if he could seriously injure or kill Master Void, it would be enough to deter the beautiful woman and the man in black. After taking a deep breath, Wang Lin decided to close his eyes. When he used this iron sword, he had a feeling that this iron sword had its own spirit. Wang Lin wasn't able to display its true power due to his cultivation level, but since this iron sword required no refining to use, there was a way to display its true strength. He only needed to treat the treasure like a person. The moment Wang Lin closed his eyes and gave up control of the iron sword let out a sword hymn. Master Void's avatar charged out once more. The purple ice cube inside the avatar emitted endless chill. Before it even got close, powerful cold energy was already closing on Wang Lin. The iron sword in Wang Lin's hand suddenly rose up, but that wasn't Wang Lin who moved, it was the iron sword who pulled Wang Lin's hand. Wang Lin's origin energy left his body like crazy, and the iron sword released heaven-shaking sword hymns as if it was happy. Just as Master Void's avatar closed in, another giant silver sword appeared. However, this silver sword was different. It looked like a real sword. It was impossible to tell it was an illusion at all. The moment it appeared, the giant silver sword immediately slashed down. With a bang, Master Void's avatar collided with the large sword and retreated a few steps. However, the large sword didn't disappear, and its silver light shined even brighter. Then it moved in an arc and attacked from the left side. The second attack connected with the first attack as if it was a mortal using sword martial arts. If that was it, it wouldn't be shocking, but as soon as the silver sword collided with Master Void's avatar a second time, it immediately moved and attacked from below. There was no pause at all. The large silver sword turned into a ray of silver light and continued to attack Master Void's avatar like a silver dragon. Strike after strike, the silver sword attacked Master Void's avatar. Its speed became faster and faster. The first strike was a bit slow, but the second strike was a bit faster. Now, in the blink of an eye, 7 strikes connected into one. All of Wang Lin's origin energy had disappeared in the 6th strike. As for the 7th strike, it absorbed his body's essence. Fortunately, his ancient god body was very strong and was able to endure it. After the 7th strike, the 8th strike struck like a silver dragon, and following that were the 9th, 10th, and 11th strikes. Wishing for the like button for the video. Chapter 1049. If you want my treasure, then feel free to come at me. Almost all the gazes in the hall were focused on Master Void's avatar. The continuous strike from the treasure shocked everyone's hearts greatly. All of this happened too quickly. The silver light became faster and faster, then came the 19th strike, the 22nd strike. Wang Lin's skin withered on a large scale and his eyes became dim. Not even his ancient god body could withstand this kind of absorption. After the 17th strike, each strike took several times more than the last, and 23 strikes was Wang Lin's limit. After the 23rd strike, Wang Lin suddenly opened his eyes. Like a ray of lightning flashing across the sky, the silver light attacking Master Void's avatar suddenly stopped. The moment it stopped, the silver shined like it had never shined before and lit up the entire hall. Under the flash of the silver light, 23 large silver swords appeared next to Master Void's avatar. The moment they appeared, they all pierced through the avatar. The 23 large swords were like 23 silver meteors that fell at an unimaginable speed. A series of rumbles echoed when all 23 swords pierced through Master Void's avatar. The avatar didn't even have the chance to dodge. When the 23 large swords penetrated the avatar, the purple ice cube inside cracked and began to collapse. Along with the ice cube, Master Void's avatar was split into countless pieces when the 23 swords penetrated it. This didn't end here. The 23 large swords seemed to form a net, and they charged at Master Void. Master Void was still comprehending the source origin when his face turned pale and he coughed out blood. He was aghast at the situation. This isn't an ordinary pseudo-nirvana void treasure. He didn't expect Wang Lin to have such a powerful treasure and be so difficult to kill. Now that his origin soul avatar was destroyed, he sustained serious injuries. His scalp went numb when he saw the 23 swords that destroyed his origin soul avatar and his own pseudo-nirvana void treasure charge at him. However, he only needed a few more breaths of time to fully comprehend the mysteries of the source origin. If you wanted to make him dodge, then you might as well just kill him instead. Screw it! Master Void had cultivated for countless years and had naturally guessed that Wang Lin had used the source origin as bait and forced him into a situation where he couldn't use his full power. This forced him to place most of his effort into comprehending the source origin, and thus created a killing formation that made it hard him to advance or retreat. He didn't retreat, and instead slapped his bag of holding. A black tortoiseshell the size of his fist appeared in his hand. It was completely black and released a powerful pressure. It was unknown where the shell was removed from. This tortoise shell was also a pseudo-nirvana void treasure. As an important member of the Cultivation Alliance, he was naturally not short on treasures. After throwing the tortoise shell, Master Void clenched his teeth and no longer paid any attention to any of this. His divine sense spread out like crazy as he comprehended the source origin. He could feel that he was only a sliver away from finding the path to the third step that he had been dreaming of for countless years. The tortoise shell flew out and floated before Master Void. It released a large amount of black light, but just when the black light started shining, the 23 large swords came crashing down on the tortoise shell. A thunderous rumble echoed, and while the tortoise shell was pushed back, it was able to resist the attack. However, this attack didn't stop. After the third sword dissipated, the fourth and fifth swords quickly followed. This went on until the 21st sword smashed down as a ray of silver light. Rumble, 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 rumble. The black tortoise shell continued to retreat, and countless cracks had appeared on it. It only lasted 3 breaths of time before it shattered into countless pieces and scattered in all directions. When it collapsed and lost the power to block, the 22nd and 23rd swords shot directly at Master Void. These last 2 large swords contained the most destructive power. In the blink of an eye, they shot toward Master Void's chest. He didn't have time to use any spell at this distance, and it was impossible for him to give up this chance to comprehend the source origin. Although this sounds slow, it all happened in an instant. At this moment of crisis, Master Void waved his hand, and his clothes began to move as if they were being blown by the wind. A purple wind suddenly appeared and formed a whirlwind around him. However, the moment the whirlwind appeared, it collided with the 22nd sword. There was a loud bang and the whirlwind collapsed. The moment it collapsed, the last sword directly went through and landed on Master Void's chest. At the same time, Wang Lin's eyes shined brightly. He was waiting for this moment, which was the final moment of this killing formation. He raised his sore left hand and rubbed the rust marks on the iron sword. Once his left hand had rust on it, he flicked his finger. When Master Void was hit by the 23rd sword, he coughed out a mouthful of blood. His face was pale, his clothes were in tatters, and his chest was a bloody mess. Almost there! Master Void seemed to have gone crazy. He completely ignored his body's injuries and focused on comprehending the source origin. He had a feeling that he was very close to the path to the third step and was about to be completely enlightened. However, at this moment, the strange power from the rust entered the void when Wang Lin flicked his finger. Just as Master Void was about to comprehend the path to the third step, the rust flew by like a gentle breeze. Master Void's body trembled and a large amount of blood sprayed out from his chest. Blood came out of all his orifices, forcing him to retreat. This made him leave the red light the source origin was in, and everything he worked for was ruined. No! Master Void's eyes were red like a beast's, but his body was thrown back away from the source origin and there was nothing he could do about it. At the same time, a large amount of blood gushed out from his body. Wang Lin's third eye flashed, and the red light returned. Almost all the source origin was gone, only a sliver remained. Wang Lin held the iron sword as his cold gaze shifted toward the beautiful woman. The beautiful woman's mind trembled at the gaze. Wang Lin's spell and treasure had shocked her greatly. She unexpectedly didn't dare to meet his gaze and lowered her head. As for the man in black, when Wang Lin looked over, the man in black's eyes revealed shock and fear. He unexpectedly also didn't dare to face Wang Lin. The aura Wang Lin currently had was the strongest it had ever been in his life. Whether it was through a scheme or deception, he was able to beat a Nirvana Shatterer cultivator. No one was willing to provoke someone like this. If you want my source origin, if you want my treasure, then quickly come and take them. Killing intent flashed across Wang Lin's eyes and he revealed a sneer. His body gradually disappeared into the purple vortex formed by the 2 statues. Although he disappeared, the shock he left the beautiful woman, the man in black, and Master Void lingered for a long time. The fear in the man in black's eyes couldn't dissipate. Just thinking about the 23 swords Wang Lin had summoned made his heart feel a chill. Although he knew that Wang Lin had probably spent all his power summoning those 23 swords and was just putting up a front, he didn't dare to gamble. That 23 sword attack made him lose some confidence. The Vermilion Bird Divine Sect will revive once more because of this person. Not only will they return to their former glory, they will reach a new height. This person has source origin. Who gave him the source origin? The man in black trembled, and the fear in his eyes became even stronger. Master Void's body landed on the ground. His face was pale and he was in a miserable state. His eyes were filled with frustration. Only a sliver more. Only sliver more, ah! Master Void clenched his fist. The pain from his body and having half of his origin soul destroyed caused his cultivation level to fall greatly. The hope he had when he was about to comprehend the source origin, followed by the irreconcilable disappointment, caused him to let out a roar. However, he was someone who had cultivated for countless years. After letting out a roar, he calmed down, and even more intense killing intent appeared in his eyes. That child is far too cunning. He is also bold and decisive. I must not allow him to become the future Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor. In order to kill him, I am willing to risk having my first Heaven's Blight arrive 3,000 years early to use this chance to kill him and seize the source origin. The shock in the beautiful woman's heart was no less intense than that of the man in black or Master Void. In fact, because she knew more, she was even more shocked than the other two. What shocked her beside Wang Lin's source origin was that iron sword. She had only heard of powerful treasures like this once in her life. She remembered back in the brilliant Void realm, when the elders were talking about treasures in the world, they once said this one thing. Although the treasures in the world were split into spirit, mysterious, celestial, void, and nirvana, they weren't the only 5 types. There were treasures even above those 5 ranks, but even the elder talking about it had only encountered nirvana-level treasures. There were many spirit and mysterious treasures. Most treasures used by first-step cultivators were within these 2 ranks. There were also some first-step cultivators with celestial treasures. However, for second-step cultivators, celestial treasures weren't strong enough to meet their requirements. For Nirvana Shatterer old monsters, unless the celestial treasure was of top quality, then it was often not as useful as celestial spells. At this time, these Nirvana Shatterer old monsters would search for a higher rank of treasure. Ignoring the commonly used celestial treasures of the ancient refiners, they looked for treasures that dated back to even older times. The relics from those ancient times were void treasures. Wishing for the like button for the VIDEO, hoping to double the likes on the VIDEO. In the meantime, everyone, throw your spare ones here. Chapter 1050, The 6th Floor. Although void treasures were rare, there were still some left. Every single Nirvana Shatterer old monster would treasure a void treasure greatly. After all, the method of producing them was lost, and they couldn't be repaired. Once they were broken, they would lose a lot of their power. In truth, some pseudo-Nirvana void treasures weren't really pseudo-Nirvana void. They were merely just void treasures. They were just a bit stronger, and the pseudo-Nirvana void name was just for vanity's sake. For normal Nirvana Shatterer old monsters, void treasures were already the peak, and they would do anything for them. However, for those that stood at the top, although void treasures were still precious, they weren't lacking these kinds of treasures. In truth, none of the treasures in this world would catch their attention. What they pursued was how to transcend the second step toward the legendary 3rd step they all dreamed of. However, this 3rd step was too ethereal, and the path was too vague. One could only wait for the 5 Heaven's Blights to arrive one by one. In the end, they would become a grain of sand among the waves and die. For those old monsters that had lived such long lives, it was no longer a dream or hope of reaching the 3rd step, but a desire to live. Only with the power of the 3rd step could they endure the 5 Heaven's Blights. Otherwise, what awaited them was death. At this moment, a cultivator from the system under the Wind Celestial Realm arrived in the Alliance Star system. Although he hadn't reached the 3rd step, he had passed the 4th Heaven's Blight. The 5 Heaven's Blights were things all Nirvana Shatterer cultivators had to face. Every time they passed a Heaven's Blight, their strength would increase greatly. However, they were simply too difficult, and failure meant they would immediately die. The reason this person was able to pass the 4th Heaven's Blight was precisely because he had a magic treasure. This treasure was a Nirvana treasure. After investigating, Nirvana treasures seemed to come from primordial times, but the amount that remained was extremely low. Although this was the case, those Nirvana Shatterer old monsters found records of treasures that were beyond void treasures, but just second to Nirvana treasures. These were pseudo-Nirvana void treasures. Although pseudo-Nirvana void treasures weren't as rare as Nirvana treasures, only a pathetic amount still existed. Almost all of them were in the hands of peak Nirvana Shatterer cultivators. The requirement for joining the Alliance Elder Group was to have a pseudo-Nirvana Void treasure. Aside from the fact that these treasures were extremely powerful, they also played a certain part in helping a cultivator resist the 5 Heaven-S blights. Pseudo-Nirvana Void treasures were also split into different grades. They were split into low, mid, high, and top tier, like normal treasures. After all, these treasures were all left behind by ancestors. The descendants didn't even know how to make them, much less categorize them properly. It can absorb a cultivator's killing intent, form an illusion, and have such power the treasure in Wang Lin's hand might be high-quality pseudo-Nirvana Void, or even a peak pseudo-Nirvana Void treasure. The beautiful woman gasped and dread filled her eyes. While the 3 of them were thinking, a roar came from outside. The man in black immediately jumped between the statues and copied Wang Lin to leave this place. Master Void and the beautiful woman also flew over. At this moment, in the 2nd floor of the Celestial Emperor Cave, there was a flash of purple light at a pavilion near the center of the 2nd floor. Wang Lin's figure walked out from the light. A Nirvana Shatterer cultivator is unexpectedly difficult to kill. Master Void is seriously injured but still not dead. There is also that beautiful woman, and right now when Wang Lin appeared, he immediately coughed out a mouthful of blood and showed a rare sign of fatigue. However, this iron sword was beyond my imagination. I didn't think it would have this kind of power. If I can get all 5 iron swords for the sword sheaths and use them, Wang Lin took a deep breath and shook his head. If he were to use them at the same time, he would likely be drained dry in an instant. He put the iron sword back into the sword sheath and put it back inside his bag. Wang Lin took out some pills and devoured them. Without waiting for them to digest, he clenched his teeth and moved forward. He had put up a front and used his momentum form, seriously injuring Master Void to shock the man in black and the beautiful woman. Otherwise, if both of them attacked, Wang Lin would have without a doubt died. At this moment, he had no time to sit down and recover. He had to use his advantage of knowing the layout of the cave to create distance between him and them. After taking a deep breath, Wang Lin moved through the various restrictions and soon arrived at one of the restriction eyes marked on the map. After taking a look, Wang Lin immediately confirmed his speculation that someone else had come here first and broke the restriction eyes. It was unknown what floor they had already reached. He dragged his weary body toward the palace at the center, surrounded by the black fog. The first 6 floors of the Celestial Emperor Cave were mostly structured the same. With Wang Lin's familiarity, although he was slower than usual, he still quickly arrived at the center of the 2nd floor where the entrance to the 3rd floor was. At this moment, the man in black, the beautiful woman, and the heavily injured Master Void also arrived at the 2nd floor. The seriously injured Master Void was no longer as arrogant as he was in the 1st floor. He moved forward slowly, and this gave Wang Lin time in the palace in the 2nd floor. There were no statues here, only 9 stone candlesticks. Wang Lin calmed his anxious heart, and after carefully observing for a long time, he frowned. However, his gaze suddenly landed on the candlesticks on the table, and he noticed faint traces of movement. There were deep and shallow traces, so they were moved more than once. It was obviously made to confuse people. His eyes lit up, and he squatted down and carefully observed them. His eyes gradually lit up. He felt a sliver of sword energy from these candles. This sword energy was very ordinary, so even if others felt it, they would think it was just residue from someone trying to break the candlesticks by force. However, to Wang Lin, the meaning was significant. Senior Zhou Yi's sword energy. If he left the sword energy here, that means he is already at the 3rd floor, so why did he leave it here? Could it be Wang Lin's eyes narrowed? He had recovered some origin energy on the way here. Now he waved his hand and the 9 candlesticks immediately lit up. The moment the candles lit up, the light from the flames surrounded Wang Lin, and he disappeared to the 3rd floor. Moving the candlesticks was only to confuse others. Even the trace of being moved was just to distract people from the fact that the candlesticks needed to be lit. Time slowly passed, and in the blink of an eye, Wang Lin had spent 2 months in the Celestial Emperor Cave. In these 2 months, he only had a short period of time to heal. The rest of the time was spent traveling through each floor. The deeper he went, the stronger the restrictions became. Even with Wang Lin's restriction knowledge and the map's instructions, it took some time to get past them. What wasted the most time were the palaces at the center of each floor. They were like balls of mysteries that required a lot of effort to find the entrance to the next floor. If that was it, it wouldn't be such a big deal, But after the 4th floor, the map showed many storage spaces as well. Wang Lin was naturally unwilling to let them go, so he checked them out. Most of them had already been opened by others, but there were still a few places not found. Wang Lin moved everything he had found into his bag. Just thinking about his harvest in these 2 months made Wang Lin excited. Even he was shocked greatly by the stuff inside the storage spaces. When it came to things such as celestial jades, Wang Lin had enough to supply a sect for 1,000 years. There were many other things as well. From Wang Lin's point of view, these storage spaces were storage points set up by Celestial Emperor Qinglin. There was obviously a purpose for all of them. Wang Lin didn't too know what purpose Qinglin had, but the things were now his, which made Wang Lin excited for a few days. What was even more exciting was that according to the Jade, there were 2 transfer arrays to storage spaces on the 6th floor. One of them contained a lot of celestial pills and elixirs from before the celestial realm collapsed. At this moment, those pills and elixirs were more important than any treasure. During these 2 months, Wang Lin still hadn't recovered his full strength. His physical injuries were no longer an issue due to his strong recovery from his ancient god body. The problem was his loss of origin energy and how his origin soul had weakened from using the iron sword. If he had no pills, it would be difficult to recover in a short period of time. Wang Lin was almost out of pills, and adding on the dangers that were everywhere, Wang Lin absolutely had to obtain that storage space full of pills. On this day, there was a flash of light at the edge of the 6th floor. Wang Lin walked out from the light. The place he appeared in was surrounded by pavilions, as if it was its own little garden. There were mountain-sounding area and a river flowing not far away. The sound of the flowing river echoed and was very soothing. This is the 6th floor. Wang Lin took a deep breath and looked around. After quickly matching his location with the map, he immediately knew his current location. Wang Lin's eyes was filled with determination as he charged toward the right. I must obtain those pills. Wang Lin moved very quickly through those restrictions, but soon he stopped and looked straight ahead. There is someone here. Wang Lin had noticed a lot of traces of people as he moved through the 2nd to 5th floors, but he had never encountered anyone. This was the first time he detected someone. It mustn't have been easy for little brother to make it here. A slightly surprised sound came from ahead. Wishing for the like button for the VIDEO. Thinking nonsense. Wishing for the like button for the VIDEO. Chapter 1051. Zhou Yi reappears. 2 people walked out from the fake mountain before Wang Lin. It was a man and a woman. The man had the air of a celestial, and he was very handsome and he smiled at Wang Lin. Behind him, the woman had a soft gaze, but there was also a hint of surprise. She apparently didn't expect Wang Lin to be able to arrive here. Seeing it was the celestial cloud cultivation couple, Wang Lin's expression was calm, but his heart was on guard. His cultivation hadn't recovered, and he was at his weakest state inside the Celestial Emperor cave. Any carelessness might get him killed. After he calmly took a step back next to a restriction, Wang Lin clasped his hands and said, "Greetings, Senior Celestial Cloud." As he spoke, he looked behind them and didn't see Zhou Yi, causing his heart to sink. Little brother's knowledge of restrictions is really mysterious. It seems that I have really underestimated you. Wang Wei laughed. He didn't know much about Wang Lin, and Zhou Yi had never said anything about Wang Lin. From Wang Wei's point of view, for Wang Lin to be able to break through the restrictions to get here, then Wang Lin's restrictions ability had to already be at a peak. As for Wang Lin's injuries, Wang Wei naturally saw through them. The Celestial Cloud cultivation couple was very strange to Wang Lin. When the Celestial Emperor cave opened, everyone should have been sucked into the bottle world. However, even after the bottle world collapsed, they didn't appear, yet someone they appeared here. Wang Lin was unwilling to speak too much with these 2, and with Zhou Yi not here, he had his own speculations. In addition, he was injured, so he retreated and said if you 2 seniors have nothing else, then Junior will take his leave. With that, Wang Lin immediately retreated. He was about to go around from the side to where the pills were stored. The smile on Wang Wei's smile remained, and he only slightly shook his head. It wasn't until Wang Lin disappeared into the restrictions that he said, "This little guy is very interesting." His cultivation couple, Wu Huan, also smiled. This Wang Lin is very cautious. Originally, I wanted to talk to him more, but he was scared away by you. Wang Wei laughed. He was not scared away by me. He just has another place to go. See how he smoothly stepped into that restriction without activating it? Either he has a very good understanding of the restrictions here, or his restriction ability has once again exceeded my expectations. Wu Huan looked at where Wang Lin disappeared to before she frowned slightly and softly said, "With his age, I do rather believe he understands this place very well." Wang Wei smiled at Wu Huan and laughed. "Do you feel unjust that he is able to step through the restrictions here so easily?" "But I agree. He seems to understand his place very well, and that just makes this more interesting." "What unjust?" "Ah, you are still teasing me at this age." Zhu Huan smiled. Her eyes were like the crescent moon, very beautiful. Wang Wei also smiled, and his expression was filled with wisdom as he said, "Before, we guessed that the sword spirit had a companion. If I'm not wrong, that sword spirit's companion should be him." Wu Huan was startled. After thinking carefully, she smiled. "If you say so, then it is. If that is really the case, then he isn't an enemy." Looking from where he came from, if he really understands this place well, he should be going to where the Celestial Emperor stores his pills. We'll go have a look. The sword spirit must be there as well. Those two must have some secrets between them. Wang Wei smiled and walked forward. Wu Huan looked at Wang Wei, and her eyes filled with tenderness. Wu Huan strongly believed in all of Wang Wei's calculations. She picked up her steps and walked next to Wang Wei. As Wang Lin retreated, he went through restriction after restriction. The restrictions on the 6th floor were far more complex, so Wang Lin's speed was affected. He could instantly pass some restrictions, but others required him to carefully calculate it before taking a step. After using 7 days of time, Wang Lin circled around this area and closed in on the pill storage location. According to the map, this was an alchemy room, and inside it was a transfer array to where the pills were stored. Looking at the alchemy room from far away, Wang Lin walked toward it. As he walked, his divine sense was spread out, but not too far, and he observed the surrounding restrictions. Based on the fluctuations of the surrounding restrictions, he would know if anyone was closing in. This alchemy room wasn't too large, and there was a garden next to it, but it was filled with withered plants. As Wang Lin closed in and was just about to enter the garden, he stopped. Wang Lin stared at the alchemy room, and vaguely felt that the restrictions here was a bit different from what was on the map. Along the way here, the map was very accurate for the first 5 floors, and the restrictions were only different in this spot. The only explanation was that someone had messed with the restrictions here. His expression became gloomy. Wang Lin looked around and his eyes lit up as he observed the restrictions. After a long time, he vaguely saw some clues, but those clues made him frown even harder. From what he could see, some restrictions had been added on top and caused the slight change. However, the restrictions added on later unexpectedly fused perfectly with the restrictions that were already there. Restrictions were very changing, and everyone casted restrictions differently, due to their personality, experience, understanding of restrictions, and cultivation level. Even if the same restriction was casted by 100 people, they would be completely different to people who understood them, even though they looked the same on the surface. As a result, this restriction that was changed was unimaginable and clearly subverted his understanding of restrictions. It unexpectedly fused so perfectly, from my understanding of restrictions and the annihilation restriction inheritance. It is impossible for the fusion to be so perfect when placing a restriction that forcibly changes another restriction, even if it is possible. It has to be someone whose restriction ability has already reached a peak and is able to change some beginner-s restriction. However, this is the 6th floor of the Celestial Emperor Cave, a place with restrictions that are rarely seen, so how could it have been changed so perfectly by someone? If there really is such a person, then all the restrictions inside this cave would be child-esque play for them, and they could easily move through all 9 floors. Wang Lin gasped and was shocked by this idea. He was unwilling to believe it, and he carefully examined it once more. The fusion of restrictions here was something that couldn't even be described with the word perfect anymore. This was like the same person had perfected their own restriction at a later time. Could it be? A thought flashed through Wang Lin's mind and his eyes widened. Could it be that the person who placed all the restrictions in the Celestial Emperor Cave and the person who changed the restrictions here was the same person? Wang Lin gasped. This answer would explain everything, but it was simply too inconceivable. Wang Lin stared at the restrictions and vaguely felt like if his guess was correct, then he had found a big net. He just didn't know who had placed the net. The first thought that appeared in Wang Lin's mind was the celestial cloud cultivation couple. After pondering a bit, Wang Lin was unwilling to just give it up like this, as the pills were too important to him. Wang Lin stared at the restriction and began his own deductions. The restrictions here were extremely complex and were obviously here to prevent others from entering. Wang Lin simply sat down, and flashes of restrictions appeared in his eyes. He slapped his bag of holding and a compass appeared in his hand. He sat there for 3 days. After 3 days, Wang Lin's eyes slowly became bloodshot. The countless changes of the restrictions flashed through his head as he searched for the correct way to break it. On the 4th day, Wang Lin raised his head. He stood up and arrived before the alchemy room. He then walked 3 steps forward without any hesitation. Wang Lin revealed hesitation on the 5th step. According to his calculations, the 5th step was the most difficult to find the correct answer to. It seemed like no matter where he stepped, it was wrong. The 5th step, Wang Lin's eyes lit up, and after a long time, he smiled. There is no 5th step. When he stepped out, his 5th step landed in the void and he jumped, landing on the ground ahead. As a result, that was the 6th step. After landing, Wang Lin immediately observed his surroundings to make sure he triggered no restrictions and let out a sigh. Then he quickly moved through these restrictions and appeared outside the alchemy room. Just as he was about to enter, his expression changed and he suddenly retreated. Just as he retreated, the door opened and a ray of sword energy shot out. The sword energy closed in, but after seeing Wang Lin, a surprise sound came from the sword energy. Shortly after, the sword energy scattered, revealing a white figure. It was Zhou Yi! Wang Lin stopped retreating after clearly seeing Zhou Yi and placed down his seal. He didn't speak. He looked at the alchemy room first. The inside and outside were like 2 different worlds that divine sense couldn't penetrate. That would explain why Zhou Yi didn't know Wang Lin had come and Wang Lin hadn't detected Zhou Yi. I knew you would be able to arrive here. Looking at Wang Lin, Zhou Yi revealed melancholy and a smile. There was also a hint of reminiscence. In Wang Lin's eyes, Zhou Yi had changed a lot. What surprised him was an aura that was very similar to that of a pseudo-nirvana void treasure coming from Zhou Yi. Wishing for the like button for the VIDEO, hoping to charge through the trending charts for the VIDEO this month. Chapter 1052, The Identity of the Celestial Cloud Cultivation Couple. Wang Lin greets Senior. How could I dare forget the promise I made before? No matter how dangerous this place is, I'll bring Xianxia's body here. Seeing Zhou Yi made Wang Lin emotional. Zhou Yi was one of the few benefactors he had, and no matter what cultivation level Wang Lin reaches, he will always be respectful to Zhou Yi. Zhou Yi revealed a melancholy expression as he looked at Wang Lin, and he shook his head. There is no need to call me Senior when it's just us. If you don't mind, you can just call me Big Brother Zhou. Zhou Yi's eyes suddenly narrowed, and he carefully looked at Wang Lin. Who injured you so seriously? Your origin soul is dim, and due to recovering too slowly, it's leading to more hidden dangers in the future. There was a chill in Zhou Yi's expression. Wang Lin wryly smiled and simply explained the matter to Zhou Yi. He didn't mention the source origin, and only talked about the vermilion bird awakening. It wasn't that Wang Lin didn't trust Zhou Yi, but the matter regarding source origin was simply too important. Master Void! Cold light flashed in Zhou Yi's eyes, and there was a hint of guilt in his gaze toward Wang Lin. If it wasn't for bringing me Xianxia, he wouldn't have been in such a danger, Master Void. I'll remember that person? Zhou Yi nodded and didn't ask more, but he engraved Master Void into his heart. Hurting Wang Lin, who had come to bring him Xianxia, was touching his bottom line. If there was a chance, given Zhou Yi's personality, he would make Master Void pay a terrible price. You must have come for the pills here, although most of the pills have already been taken by the Celestial Cloud Cultivation Couple. The only ones remaining are those that are useful to spirit bodies. They didn't take them because their storage method is very complex. As Zhou Yi spoke, he suddenly changed topic and said, "But don't worry, I'll find way to get you those pills." After Zhou Yi finished speaking, he turned into a ray of sword energy and charged out of the restrictions of the alchemy room. He appeared in the air and clasped his hands. Senior Celestial Cloud Couple, this person is my old friend. Please gift me some pills. A chuckle came from the distance. There was a flash from the nearby purple forest, and Wang Wei and Hu Huan walked out. The two of them walked slowly, but strangely, it only took them 3 steps to reach the alchemy room. Wang Wei waved his hand, causing the restrictions outside the alchemy room to disappear as if they never existed. This made Wang Lin's pupils violently shrink. I had already guessed that little brother Wang had some relation with the sword spirit. It seems I guessed correctly, Wang Wei joked as his right hand reached out and a crack immediately appeared before him. 6 purple jade bottles flew out into his palm. These 6 bottles of rank 5 celestial gathering pills might be useful to you. With that, Wang Wei waved his right hand, and the 6 bottles of pills flew toward Wang Lin. Dense celestial spiritual energy came from the 6 purple jade bottles, and the smell inside them was extremely refreshing. Wang Lin held the 6 bottles and scanned them with his divine sense. He didn't immediately consume them, but put them away inside his bag. Hu Huan carefully looked at Wang Lin and suddenly said, "You are the inheritor of the annihilation restriction." Wang Lin was calm as he looked at Hu Huan and calmly said, "I'm not the inheritor, I just know some of it." When Zhou Yi saw Wang Wei only give 6 bottles of celestial gathering pills to Wang Lin, he couldn't help but frown. After pondering a bit, he looked at Wang Wei and said, "Senior Wang Wei, not only is this person my old friend, but he is also my benefactor. There was something I didn't say before, but I was sealed here and he saved me. If not for him, I wouldn't have had the chance to meet Senior." Wang Wei meaningfully looked at Zhou Yi before his right hand reached toward the crack once more. This time, 5 colored jade bottles flew out. He threw them at Wang Lin. Their pills are known as the Heaven Avoidance Pills. They are rank 4 celestial pills, and taking them will greatly reduce your injuries. Wang Lin took the bottles and scanned them with his divine sense. The celestial spiritual energy inside these bottles was monstrous, far more than the 6 bottles of celestial gathering pills he got earlier. Zhou Yi frowned once more, apparently still somewhat dissatisfied, and no longer clasped his hands. "Since Senior knows about the Rain Celestial Sword Spirit, then I presume you also know about Rain Celestial Lord Qing Shuang." Wang Wei's eyes suddenly narrowed. He didn't ask but took out 3 more bottles from the crack. He didn't introduce them and directly threw them at Wang Lin. Wang Lin caught them, and after he scanned them, his expression changed. The celestial spiritual energy inside these 3 bottles was even stronger than the 5-colored bottles. These were obviously better. Junior once became infatuated with a female corpse in the Rain Celestial realm. I built a celestial jade pagoda to store the corpse to prevent it from rotting, and to allow it to exist forever. Zhou Yi's eyes were filled with nostalgia as he recalled the past. Later I found out that she wasn't Ting Er, but Celestial Lord Qing Shuang. Wang Wei's expression changed. He had worried that he would destroy the spirit if he used Soul Search, so he had held back asking. However, now that he heard the story, a wave was set off in his heart. Hu Huan revealed a trace of excitement in her eyes. The two of them looked at each other before Wang Wei reached at the crack once more. This time dozens of colored bottles flew toward Wang Lin. Staring at Zhou Yi, Wang Wei said, "Continue with your story." Wang Lin's expression became strange. He finally understood what Zhou Yi meant when he said he would find a way to get the pills. The last time I took Ting Er to the Rain Celestial Realm was when I met Wang Lin. The reminiscence in Zhou Yi's eyes became even stronger. He seemed completely immersed in the beautiful and memorable memories, and his face revealed a melancholy smile. As he spoke, everything that happened in the Rain Celestial Realm was brought up. As Wang Lin listened, he was also reminded of what happened. 1. Wang Wei and Hu Huan were brought back to these realistic memories when they heard someone wanted to steal Qing Shuang. A trace of killing intent appeared on Hu Huan's gentle expression, and Wang Wei's eyes turned cold, releasing a powerful pressure. Zhou Yi muttered, "I was willing to burn everything for her. I have no regrets even now." Zhou Yi didn't regret what he had done. After hearing that Zhou Yi had burned his soul to reach the ascendant stage and regain his sanity in order to protect Qing Shuang's body, but still didn't regret it. There was a hint of compassion in Hu Huan's gaze toward Zhou Yi. What a terrible fate. Wang Wei let out a sigh. With his cultivation level and experience, he could naturally tell if what Zhou Yi said was the truth or a lie. A remnant soul had formed inside Qing Shuang due to his thousands of years of obsession, and she awakened. She revived Zhou Yi, who was on the verge of death, and made him the new Rain Celestial Sword Spirit. After hearing the story from Zhou Yi's mouth, Wang Wei and Hu Huan silently pondered. After a long time, Wang Wei let out a sigh and clasped his hands at Zhou Yi. I'll remember Brother Zhou's kindness to Qing Shuang. If I've done anything to offend Brother Zhou, please don't take offense. Hu Huan's expression was filled with pain as she looked at Zhou Yi and said, "We will not forget Brother Zhou's grace." The two of them could easily see if it was the truth or a lie. Adding to what they had speculated before, how could they not believe Zhou Yi's words? Also, Zhou Yi's identity as the Rain Celestial Sword explained everything. I presume that little brother Wang Lin is here to bring Qing Shuang's body. Wang Wei looked at Wang Lin, and couldn't help but reveal a look of admiration. Thinking back, he didn't pay much attention to Wang Lin, but he didn't expect Wang Lin to be such a righteous person. At this moment, it seemed the matter had been cleared up, but Wang Lin didn't immediately take out Qing Shuang's body. Instead, he retreated a few steps, looked at Wang Wei and Hu Huan, and said, "What exactly are seniors' identities?" Wang Wei admired Wang Lin even more for his caution. The amount of caution Wang Lin showed meant that he truly cared about his promise to Zhou Yi. Forget it. I haven't told anyone my identity to anyone for a long time. Since you and Zhou Yi have helped us, and also Celestial Emperor Qing Lin greatly, I can keep it a secret from you two. Wang Wei let out a sigh as he looked toward the center of the 6th floor. There was a hint of melancholy on his face. I am the #1 guard under Celestial Emperor Qing Lin, and at the same time I was also his second disciple. As Wang Wei spoke of his identity, an indescribable aura spread out from his body. This aura contained a heaven-shaking arrogance. In an instant, Wang Lin could feel Wang Wei's fame in the celestial realm. Hu Huan softly said, "I am Teacher's 7th disciple and I grew up together with little sister Qing Shuang. When the celestial realm collapsed due to the calamity, we were lucky and happened to be outside, thus avoiding the calamity. After learning that teacher hadn't died but was seriously injured and had gone into hiding, we searched countless caves over the years. Finally, we were able to determine that teacher was in the celestial spirit heaven realm." Wang Lin's mind was startled, and he began to silently ponder. Hu Huan looked at Wang Lin and waved her hand at the restriction to the right. The restriction immediately changed and became even stronger than before. You should have seen the difference in the restrictions around the alchemy room. With your restriction cultivation, you should have had a guess after the celestial cave was opened by teacher. All of the buildings and restrictions here were set up by me at Teacher's command. Only I can add perfectly onto the restrictions here. Hu Huan's voice wasn't loud, but when it landed in Wang Lin's ears, it was like roaring thunder. Wang Lin gasped and wryly smiled. "So it really was you. I thought it was Senior Wang Wei." Wang Wei shook his head and laughed. "My restriction cultivation is weaker than hers, or else I wouldn't have lost the bet regarding your restriction back then." Wang Lin slapped his bag of holding and was about to take the celestial pagoda out. However, at this moment Wang Lin's expression changed, and he suddenly looked into the distance. A sharp laugh echoed across the 6th floor at this moment. 1. The arc regarding this started chapter. The video schedule for first is up, and I ask all friends not to be stingy. Remember to share Leo. If you're capable friends, please be prepared to support Leo with a like. Chapter 1053. Master Void's Cold Sweat. The moment the sharp laugh was heard, Wang Lin saw a bald person that seemed to be walking in the void and quickly came here. Bei Lu. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. What a good disciple of Qing Lin to actually trap this demon inside a restriction. Bei Lu took a few steps and noticed Wang Lin. He revealed a look of surprise. "You were able to get here." Bei Lu's eyes revealed a strange glow. There was a flash of coldness in Wang Wei's eyes. He let out a cold snort and took a step forward. His right hand formed a seal and curtain of rain immediately appeared and shot toward Bei Lu. Hu Huan stepped into the restriction on the side and bit the tip of her right finger. Then she quickly drew a strange rune in the air. After the rune appeared, it gave off waves of ghostly light. Just at this moment, all the restrictions in the 6th floor of the Celestial Emperor Cave seemed to become alive and unexpectedly lit up at the same time, as if they were all triggered at once. They came from all directions and flew directly at ancient demon Bei Lu. The sky was filled with restrictions, and as Hu Huan pointed, all of these restrictions gathered. Ancient demon Bei Lu pressed his hands to the side, causing a powerful surge of demonic energy to appear, and formed a vortex of demonic energy. "This demon doesn't want to fight with you two. The two of you want to save Qing Lin And I am after that ancient devil, Tajia. Although our goals are different, we can still work together. I fear just you two aren't strong enough to open the seal Tajia placed. With me, the chances of breaking it will be greater. Beilu was inside the vortex, and the demonic energy swirled around him. His voice was distorted by the vortex, and when it landed in one's ears, it would make them tremble. Wang Lin was already injured, so his face immediately turned pale. He took out several pills and threw it into his mouth. He had no time to digest them before he cycled the origin energy inside his body. How is my proposal? If we continue to fight, you 1T be able to save the Celestial Emperor, and I 1T be able to kill Tajia. In the end, we will only make it easier for him. Beilu's voice was filled with demonic intent. The reason Beilu was saying this was because he really dreaded Wang Wei and Hu Huan when they worked together, and Hu Huan controlled all the restrictions here. When Beilu left the celestial burial pool, he had already encountered them on the 4th floor. They went through a very vicious battle, but in the end, neither side could kill the other. However, because of Hu Huan, Beilu was trapped for several months. He came here not to continue fighting, but to work together. Hu Huan's eyes lit up, and she looked at Wang Wei. As Wang Wei stared at Beilu, the coldness in his eyes slowly disappeared. He waved his hand, causing the water curtain to disappear before he calmly said, "Okay." Beilu relaxed a bit in his heart and landed on the ground, but kept within certain distance from the couple. His gaze fell on Wang Lin and he laughed. "Little brother Wang, your cultivation level has unexpectedly improved again. However, if you don't heal that injury soon, it will affect your cultivation in the future. Forget it, this demon was only able to come here because of you. I don't think anyone else would have let me in. Although I have medicine to help you, your injuries must have been caused by someone. Tell me his name and I'll kill him for you to repay your grace." Wang Lin's expression was cold. With his intelligence, how could he not see the provocation and temptation in Beilu's words? Beilu was obviously very surprised Wang Lin was able to get there, and didn't he know what his relationship with the celestial cloud couple was? Wang Lin revealed a faint smile as he clasped his hands and said, "Many thanks, Lord Ancient Demon. If the person who hurt me appears, I'll tell you. Please don't back out on your promise then." Beilu's eyes lit up and he laughed. He didn't mention this again. It was naturally inconvenient to take out Qing Shuang's body now. Wang Wei took out a pill wrapped in green wax. There was a trace of reminiscence in his eyes as he handed it to Wang Lin. "This is a green pill teacher gave me. Whether you cultivate celestial spiritual energy or origin energy, as long as it is an energy of this world. All injuries can be instantly healed after taking this pill. I don't have much of this pill left. You may choose to take it now or save it for later." As Wang Wei spoke, he coldly looked at Beilu. It wasn't merely that he didn't have much left. He only had 3 total. 1 was with Hu Huan and 2 with him. The moment Beilu saw the green wax, greed filled his eyes as he was far too familiar with it. When he and ancient devil Tajia sneak attacked Qing Lin, even with Qing Lin's severe injuries, the pill still had some effect. It allowed Qing Lin to put up a lot of resistance, and was ultimately why the ancient demon had failed. Gifting this pill means they share a very close relationship with Wang Lin. This also means they still have some more left, although I don't know if this is true. If a real fight starts, it will be troublesome. Beilu's gaze withdrew from the pill. Holding the pill, Wang Lin didn't immediately take it but put it in his bag. They moved toward the dark fog at the center of the 6th floor under Hu Huan's guidance. Zhou Yi still floated beside Wang Lin. Wang Lin was very weak and needed someone to guard him, so Zhou Yi would naturally not leave. Soon the dark fog appeared before them. Beilu looked at the black fog with hatred in his eyes. If it wasn't for the fact that he had failed, then ancient devil Tajai couldn't have seized that opportunity. However, this isn't a bad thing. How could Qing Lin be that easy to deal with? Tajia mustn't have succeeded, or he would have long left this place. After stepping into the palace, Wang Lin immediately saw a stone tablet on the ground. This tablet was around 20 feet tall, and the only thing on it was a handprint. Wang Wei looked at Beilu and said, "The last 3 floors are Teacher's private chambers. I don't know if there are any changes to those places. In order to have a better chance, we should wait for more people to arrive. Wang Lin, spend some time healing so you have the power to protect yourself." Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. He still wasn't able to see through the celestial cloud couple. They weren't anxious to enter and actually wanted to wait for others to arrive. There was also ancient demon Bei Lu. He didn't question it at all, as if he had the same idea. Don't think so much and focus on healing. I have already seen that those two are strange, but they won't harm us. Zhou Yi was beside Wang Lin, and he sent Wang Lin a message through a special method only sword spirits could use. Wang Lin lowered his head and his eyes lit up. He sat down but didn't take out the green pill. Instead, he took out the other pills and devoured them one by one after checking them out. He then closed his eyes and focused on healing. Although he was healing, he didn't seal his divine sense. Although it would affect his healing speed, he had to stay vigilant here. Time slowly passed, and in the blink of an eye, 7 days went by. During this time, Wang Wei and Hu Wan were sitting down as if they were cultivating. Ancient demon Bei Lu was the same. Wang Lin let out a mouthful of foul air. His injuries had recovered slightly, but the hidden dangers were still there. Luckily, there were enough pills to fully recover. Wang Lin took out more pills and devoured them after checking them out. However, his divine sense was still spread out and locked onto the entrance. He was waiting for Master Void to arrive. He believed that Master Void's group of 3 would be the first group to arrive. Time seemed to last forever in the hall, and it was easy for people to forget the passage of time. Wang Lin's injuries slowly recovered due to the large amount of pills. Today was the 27th day since everyone started waiting in the hall. It was about noon when Wang Wei and Hu Wan both opened their eyes and looked at the door. Ancient demon Bei Lu was one step faster than them and looking at the door. Fluctuations came from Wang Lin's divine sense. When his eyes opened, they revealed a mysterious light as he looked at the door. A person slowly walked into the hall. This person was a woman surrounded by snowflakes. The snowflakes danced around her and looked extremely gorgeous. It's her. Wang Lin withdrew his gaze. The first person to arrive was in Master Void's group of 3, but the girl in pink who was suspected of being the brilliant Void Santess. Her expression was calm. Her beautiful eyes swept across the hall and especially looked at Wang Lin. She didn't speak, but found a corner and sat down. Less than 7 minutes after the girl sat down, Wang Lin felt fluctuations outside the hall once more. He looked up and saw 3 figures entering the hall. Master Void, the beautiful woman, and the man in black. The moment the 3 of them entered the hall, they attracted everyone's attention. Master Void immediately noticed Wang Lin, and a monstrous killing intent flashed through his eyes. The moment he saw Wang Lin was also when Wang Lin saw him. Wang Lin's eyes turned cold and he calmly said, "Lord Ancient Demon, he is the person who injured me." The moment Wang Lin spoke, Wang Wei and Hu Wan all turned to stare at Master Void. Even Ancient Demon Bei Lu looked at Master Void with a smile that wasn't a smile. Killing intent flashed across Zhou Yi's eyes as he floated forward, approaching Master Void. The sudden scene caused Master Void to suck in a breath of cold air. Cold sweat covered his forehead, and his heart pounded even faster. He didn't know what Wang Lin had done in these short few months to make these people help him. The celestial cloud couple and the strange bald man made him feel like he would have to be cautious even during his peak. However, right now he was seriously injured and half of his origin soul was missing. His cultivation level had fallen from peak Nirvana Shatterer to mid-stage Nirvana Shatterer. He didn't dare to move at all or retreat. He was locked onto by everyone inside the hall. It was likely any movement from him would make everyone else here attack him. "I am the Cultivation Alliance's Elder, Master Void, junior brother of head Elder Master Zhong Xuan. What is the meaning of this?" Master Void forced himself to calm down and even brought out the Cultivation Alliance. The VIDEO has reached first place in the ranking but still can't maintain the top position. Urgently wishing for all friends to push a round of VIDEO, Leo is extremely grateful. Chapter 1054, Forcing Master Void. Cultivation Alliance Wang Wei coldly looked at Master Void and shook his head. What a high status. Hu Huan smiled and casually looked at Master Void. She and her husband had never considered the Cultivation Alliance much. It wasn't that Master Zhong Xuan or the Alliance were weak, but they had their own pride in their status. Especially Wang Wei, whose pride was known by everyone in the celestial realm back then. However, after countless years of change, Wang Wei's personally had been suppressed and wasn't so easily revealed. However, the pride in his bones wasn't something time could erase. Wang Wei and Hu Huan were disciples of the strongest person in the celestial realm, Celestial Emperor Lin. They were famous when the celestial realm was still around, and the cultivation alliance didn't even exist. They were still just a bunch of lower realm QI cultivators back then. Even ancient demon Beilu grinned, and his eyes filled with mockery. As an ancient demon, he naturally held disdain for this cultivation alliance that was a new organization. He was already famous in the outside realm when the sealed realm still belonged to the celestial realm. In addition, although he had been trapped in the demon spirit land for all these years, he had learned a lot about the cultivation alliance through the cultivators that came here. In fact, he knew a lot more details than most people. Your senior brother, Master Zhongshuan, was already a famous person before the celestial realm collapsed and was considered one of the strongest QI cultivators. When the celestial realm collapsed, he was among the first people, along with the 4 divine sect Azure Dragon Divine Emperor, that risked their lives to rob the celestial realm. In the end, he used some unknown method to obtain most of the inheritances of the reigned celestial realm, and only then was the cultivation alliance established. I, Beilu, actually admire such a person, but Yu Beilu shook his head, and his eyes filled with mockery. Master Void's expression was gloomy. Their gazes made him very angry, but he suppressed that anger. He pointed at Wang Lin and said, "I have a personal vendetta with this junior. Since you fellow cultivators came forward, I'll hold off on this matter. I promise to not find any trouble with this junior while we are in this cave. I presume you fellow cultivators are here to work together to enter the next floor. Why ruin the mood? If it impacts our chances at the next floor, it's not worth it." Hundreds of thoughts flashed through Master Void's mind as he spoke. His words were very clever. First, he pretended to be weak and did not cause any trouble for Wang Lin. Then pointed out that it was not good for the overall situation for them to start fighting now. To force someone with his cultivation level and status to say something like this was the most humiliating thing one could experience. All his anger was focused on Wang Lin, and although his killing intent was hidden, it was even stronger than before. The man in black next to Master Void walked out and sat down. It was obvious he was showing he wasn't going to participate in this matter. Only the beautiful woman stood next to Master Void with a pale expression. Wang Wei's cold gaze withdrew from Master Void. Although killing this Master Void wouldn't be difficult, it would still be troublesome as this person was still a Nirvana Shatterer cultivator. Although he was seriously injured, as Master Zhongshuan's junior brother, he should still possess some spells and treasures. Right now, saving his teacher was Wang Wei's priority. There was no need to rush killing this person to get revenge for Wang Lin. Seeing that this matter was going to calmly pass, Master Void relaxed in his heart. However, just at this moment, Wang Lin stood up. Master Void's pupils suddenly shrank as he stared at Wang Lin. The moment he looked at Wang Lin, Zhou Yi immediately released a powerful cold aura. He turned into a ray of sword energy and shot directly at Master Void. The moment Zhou Yi stepped out, Wang Lin stepped out too. His hand formed a seal and flames appeared in his eyes. Fire came out from his right arm and quickly formed a vermilion bird before him. This vermilion bird let out a cry as it charged at Master Void along with Zhou Yi. "You recording death!" Killing intent appeared in Master Void's eyes as he waved his right hand. A yellow vortex appeared out of thin air and swept forward. Wang Wei originally didn't want to attack right now, but seeing Wang Lin and Zhou Yi attack, he couldn't just do nothing. Zhou Yi couldn't die, and Wang Lin had brought Qing Shuang here, so he couldn't die either. After letting out a sigh, Wang Wei pointed forward and a curtain of water appeared. It released a 5-colored light and immediately charged forward. It was so fast that it immediately reached the yellow vortex Master Void had created. Wang Wei calmly said, "Seal!" The moment he spoke, the 5-colored curtain of water turned into water vapor and spread out around the yellow vortex before it quickly contracted. There were popping sounds as the water vapor fused with the yellow vortex. The vortex immediately seemed to stop rotating and suddenly collapsed. It turned into countless pieces of dirt that scattered in all directions. Master Void's schemes were completely destroyed by Wang Lin's attack. Wang Lin's daring and cunning shocked Master Void. Such a decisive act was something Master Void knew he couldn't have done at Wang Lin's age. Even out of all the juniors he had met, there were few like Wang Lin. The collapse of the yellow vortex allowed the vermilion bird formed by Wang Lin's spell to charge through. As it rushed out, it released a monstrous flame that contained extreme heat, and it shot toward Master Void. Unless he took out that iron sword again, Master Void wouldn't care about Wang Lin's attack. What he cared about was Wang Wei, Hu Huan, and Bei Lu. Facing Wang Lin's attack, Master Void slapped his bag and a small bag appeared. He slapped that bag and purple ashes flew out of it. The moment these purple ashes appeared, they turned into a mire and gave off a rotten smell. The smell shot toward Wang Lin and Zhou Yi. Bei Lu smiled and quickly stepped forward. With just one step, he appeared on the mire and mercilessly inhaled. There was a whistling sound as the mire was sucked into Bei Lu's mouth. Bei Lu's eyes were filled with greed and he licked his lips. He then appeared near Master Void and his hand reached out. Master Void's expression changed greatly, and he retreated without hesitation. His hand formed a seal and repeatedly clapped down, causing a thunderous rumble to echo across the hall. At this moment, the vermilion bird formed by Wang Lin's spell closed in and brought with it intense heat. Master Void let out a roar. Then his origin soul appeared around his body and pointed at Wang Lin's vermilion bird. He used his powerful cultivation to cause the vermilion bird to shatter into pieces with a point of his finger. Master Void didn't stop moving. He stepped to the side as he tried to shake off Bei Lu. However, Bei Lu was even faster and kept chasing after Master Void. Popping sounds echoed in the hall, and after every pop, Master Void's face would become a bit paler. While Bei Lu chased, demonic energy erupted from his body. He only needed to raise his hand and spells would appear without any seals. There were so many different spells that it was enough to blind someone from the light. Master Void had no chance to fight back and could only retreat while passively resisting. What gave Master Void a headache was that the collapsed vermilion bird had unexpectedly reformed. It gave off an even stronger flame than before and charged at Master Void. No matter how many times Master Void destroyed the vermilion bird, while being chased by Bei Lu, it would reform from the flames. It was as if this vermilion bird really had an undying soul. Zhou Yi turned into a ray of sword light and followed closely. He wouldn't causally go near Master Void, but the moment he found an opportunity, he would charge in. The beautiful woman's eyes revealed a hint of hesitation, and she was about to help when Wang Lin suddenly looked at her with a cold gaze. This immediately made her think of Wang Lin's words before he left the first floor and the terrifying power of the iron sword. Her foot that had lifted and was forcibly stopped by her. She subconsciously avoided Wang Lin's eyes, and the idea of helping Master Void quickly extinguished. Master Void's face became even more pale. If this was it, it wouldn't have been too bad, but what made Master Void anxious was that Wang Wei had unexpectedly stood up. He charged in and went on a pincer attack with Bei Lu, completely sealing in Master Void. Seeing that Wang Wei was about to attack, Master Void became anxious and roared, "If you fellow cultivators don't participate in this matter, I will give up on taking anything from this Celestial Emperor cave and will help you break through the restrictions in here." Wang Wei's eyes narrowed, and even Bei Lu's eyes narrowed and his feet paused for a moment. Just at this moment, another fluctuation came from outside the hall. Someone else had arrived. The ulcer slowly entered with Ling Tianho, and the old man on the gourd was behind him. After seeing what was going on inside the hall, Ling Tianho was startled. The ulcer revealed a gaze that made it seem as if he had foreseen everything. He revealed a smile that was not a smile and looked at Master Void. "All-Seer, help me." Master Void quickly retreated. However, just at this moment, Wang Lin's right hand formed a seal, and the vermilion bird condensed once more. He didn't target Master Void directly, but it suddenly collapsed into a sea of flames next to Master Void. Just at this instant, the sword light formed by Zhou Yi released a fierce energy he had never released before, along with a trace of the aura of a pseudo-Nirvana Void treasure. He charged directly at Master Void, who was inside the sea of flames. Urgently wishing for all friends to push around a video, Leo is extremely grateful. You are listening to a completely free audiobook on the Leo Audio YouTube channel. If you enjoy the story, please like the video to motivate the channel. Support Leo with a cup of coffee through the description link or on the screen. If you want to hear any other stories, just comment and let Leo know. Thank you very much for watching the video. Chapter 105, Ji Realm of a Past Era. In ancient times, Ji, Dao, and Shi were the three realms of spiritual energy that were hard to comprehend. In terms of mysteriousness, the Ji realm can T-match the Dao realm. In terms of unpredictableness, the Ji realm can T-match the Shi realm, but if there was ever a Ji realm cultivator in ancient times, it was a catastrophe. Although the Ji realm isn't as mysterious as the Dao realm or as unpredictable as the Shi realm, in terms of how terrifying it is, the Ji realm and the other two simply can be compared. Cultivators with the Ji realm will, without a doubt, be several times more powerful than other cultivators of the same level, and their spiritual energy will be completely based on the Ji realm. As a result, the only word to describe the Ji realm is terrifying. Among cultivators of the same level of cultivation, a Ji realm cultivator is invincible. However, the weakness of the Ji realm is also very obvious. With the Ji realm, a cultivator can never reach the spirit severing stage. The late stage of nascent soul is the limit. However, a late-stage nascent soul Ji realm cultivator is someone not even a spirit-severing cultivator would want to mess with. If this was all there was to it, then the Ji realm wouldn't be considered terrifying. What is really terrifying is that in ancient times, when a soul transformation cultivator was going through his trials, people found out that he had the Ji realm. This news was something that startled everyone in the ancient cultivation world and filled them with fear. It has to be said that this cultivator rampaged the cultivation world for years. In those years, he was like a king of the cultivation world. If anyone displeased him, he would wipe out their family and sect. In these 3,000 years, just saying his name would cause people's skin to crawl. The Ji realm is a heaven-defying existence. Not only does it make someone invincible in a fight against cultivators of the same cultivation level, spiritual energy infused with Ji realm can take techniques to their extremes. All of this is already very overwhelming. But when the only weakness of not being able to reach the spirit-severing stage is removed, then when a cultivator past the nascent soul stage with Ji realm shows up, it can really be considered a catastrophe. Because of this, whenever a Ji realm cultivator appears, they are hunted down by all of the other cultivators. The Ji realm was considered by the ancient cultivation world something that was truly heaven-defying. If the demonic cultivation path is considered a ferocious beast, when compared to the Ji realm, it is only a tamed house pet. The truth is that in ancient times, the study of Ji realm never stopped, but in the end, there is only some introductory understanding of the Ji realm. Luckily, only that one person seemed to be able to break past the spirit-severing limit of the Ji realm. All of the Ji realm successors in later generations were stuck at the late stage of nascent soul. Most of the records about the Ji realm have been lost throughout the ages. Nowadays, people don't know how the Ji realm came to be or how to obtain it. Only in the libraries of very large sects in high-ranked cultivation countries are there some descriptions of the Ji realm. At some point during the ancient times, a genius cultivator was born in the country of Gu. At the age of, he had already reached the core formation stage, and his sect was wiped out by other sects. 5 years later, a mysterious cultivator appeared, and within 1 month's time, he killed over cultivators. Blood covered the sky. With only early-stage nascent soul cultivation, not only was he able to easily kill others in the same rank as him, but he was even able to kill spirit-severing cultivators. In the end, both the orthodox and demonic sects sent out a soul transformation cultivator and finally killed him. In ancient times, the country of clear water was destroyed, and the king of the country entered a sect. Years later, he left and went on a killing spree of all cultivators. It didn't matter if they were male or female, old or young, he would kill them. In only 7 days, there were no cultivators left in the country of clear water. Not even his own sect was able to escape. Blood dyed the ground of clear water red. Just as the higher cultivation countries prepared experts to kill him, the blood in clear water boiled. Using the blood to kill his enemies, the king disappeared among the chaos. Some believe that he underwent divine retribution. All of these things have one common point. All of these cultivators had the Ji realm. As for how these people obtained the Ji realm, no one knew. Some people believe that they underwent a change, and some believe that they all had the same magic treasure. With the inheritance of that treasure, it would allow whoever owned the treasure to have Ji realm. Numerous speculations spread, but with the disappearance of the ancient cultivation world, all of these rumors died out too. No one knew that at this moment, in the rank cultivation country of Zhao, a country that no one really paid any attention to, in a small place called the Juming Valley, a cultivator named Wang Lin was walking toward the true Ji realm. If Tang Huayuan knew all of this, then no matter what, he wouldn't be the person that would be the catalyst for the birth of a Ji realm cultivator. Wang Lin half knelt on the ground. Everything within half a dozen meters of him had been covered in ice. On his chest, the heaven-defying bead emitted a never-seen-before black light as it moved and floated above his head. Tang Huayuan used the connection of Wang Lin and his family to leave a message in his mind. "I'll wait for you outside the Juming Valley. If you don't come by the time the valley is open, then I'll destroy the soul flag, and your family's souls will be gone forever." The 2 male and 1 female cultivators from the Tian Dao sect caught up. They suddenly stopped a dozen meters away because the ground covered in ice caused their hearts to tighten. The youth in the middle of the ice was especially terrifying. The destructive aura that he was giving off even made the mid-stage foundation establishment disciple's skin crawl. After hesitating for a bit, the mid-stage foundation establishment cultivator made a decision. He waved his hand and said, "Retreat!" Just as he was about to leave, the female stared at the heaven-defying bead above Wang Lin's head and said, "Senior apprentice brother, that bead looks very familiar." The other male said, This is the bead ancestor told us about." "Wait, no, the carvings on this bead are different. The bead the ancestor showed us had clouds, but this one has leaves." The mid-stage foundation establishment cultivator was startled. He took a closer look and immediately became more serious. But soon, greed gripped his heart. Aside from the carvings, everything else about the bead matched the bead the ancestor showed them. The thought of the prize for the bead suddenly entered his mind. Whoever turns it in will be given a soul transformation level magic treasure. Their sect will receive 10 puppets that are at the level of spirit transformation, and their country's rank will be raised by 1. The mid-stage foundation establishment cultivator decisively said, "It doesn't matter if it is the right one or not, we should take it." The female took out a voice transmission jade and was about to send out a message when the mid-stage foundation establishment cultivator stopped her and whispered, "Although this person is strange, if us 3 give it our all, we can kill him for sure. If you notify other people and this bead really is the one in the description, then the credit will definitely not be ours. Similarly, if we are wrong and make a fuss about it, we will be scolded." "Are you dumb?" The girl was startled. She hesitated for a bit, then put away the voice transmission jade. The 3 of them immediately took out their magic treasures and used them without a word. At the same time, Wang Lin opened his eyes. His eyes were no longer bloodshot. They were as clear as water. A huge amount of killing intent escaped from his body. As the killing intent appeared, the spiritual energy in his body moved. The first effect of the GI realm displayed its might. Against cultivators of the same rank, the G realm is invincible. Staring at the 3, Wang Lin gloomily waved his hand. With a flash of blue light, the ice on the ground moved and instantly surrounded the 3. Their expressions and actions froze the moment they acted. Wang Lin stood up. He reached out with his right and retrieved the heaven-defying bead. After he put it back near his chest, he moved past the 3. Cracks appeared on the ice that covered the 3. The ice broke and the 3 died. Wang Lin silently moved through the Juming Valley when a flying sword suddenly arrived before him. A young man appeared. Without a word, he pointed his finger at Wang Lin, and the flying sword shot toward him. Wang Lin didn't stop moving. The moment the flying was about to pierce his body, ice appeared in front of the sword, and in the blink of the eye, the flying sword was frozen. The youth was shocked and quickly backed up. He originally saw that Wang Lin was by himself and only at the early stage of foundation establishment, so he wanted to come here, kill Wang Lin, and steal his treasures. However, he didn't expect that Wang Lin wouldn't even need to move to destroy his flying sword. He panicked. The only thought in his mind was to run. But before he could take more than a few steps back, a ray of green light flashed by. The small flying sword pierced through his chest. His body turned to ice and fell to the ground. This whole time, Wang Lin didn't stop even for a second. One day later, somewhere inside the valley, there were 8 people from the demonic and orthodox sects fighting each other with several people of each side watching. At some point, Wang Lin's lonely figure walked out. He walked forward as if he couldn't see them at all. Among the people watching, a middle-aged man from the demonic sect frowned. Without a word, he threw out a thunder talisman toward Wang Lin. Suddenly, thunder appeared from the sky and struck Wang Lin, but when it was about to hit him, ice appeared. It was even able to freeze intangible things like lightning. This scene caused everyone to stop fighting as they stared dumbfoundedly at Wang Lin, who was walking toward them without any expression on his face. Soon, the chest of the middle-aged man who threw out the talisman glowed green. His body then froze, and he died. Everyone was surprised. Before they could react, Wang Lin was already in front of them. Before him stood 4 people. Before they could speak, they saw a blue light, and they froze, following the middle-aged man's footsteps. At that moment, everyone withdrew to the sides as a white-robed disciple clasped his hands and said, "What sect is fellow cultivator from?" "I am Yuantian sect's disciple, Zhou Quan." Wang Lin ignored him and kept walking forward. Gradually, everyone moved out of his way. As Wang Lin walked out meters from the crowd, a young disciple of a demonic sect stared at Wang Lin and sneered in his heart. "You killed my senior apprentice brother. I'll remember you." Wang Lin suddenly stopped. He felt a strong killing intent coming from behind him. He turned around and coldly looked at that demonic sect disciple. Under Wang Lin's gaze, that disciple felt his entire body inside and out became as cold as ice. He quickly lowered his head, not daring to look at Wang Lin. Every cultivator who saw those eyes sucked in a breath of cold air. Those eyes were completely dead and were filled with killing intent. Anyone who saw those eyes felt their entire body turn cold. After staring at the cultivator for a bit, Wang Lin turned around and kept walking forward. A flash of green light appeared on that disciple's chest. He coughed out blood and fell to the ground. His body immediately froze. Even the blood he coughed out turned to ice before it hit the ground. No one dared to take a deep breath, and after Wang Lin left, no one wanted to fight anymore, so they all scattered. Just like this, Wang Lin traveled through Juming Valley. If anyone offended him, he froze them with a wave of his hand. Not even late-stage Foundation establishment cultivators could resist. After killing a few people, they all ran away. In 3 days' time, the number of cultivators that died by Wang Lin's hands were countless. Embarrassed, I've been remiss in saying thank you. Thank you all for pressing the like button. Thanks to the fellow Taoists for their praise. Chapter 1055. Mountain Crumbles. Master Void suddenly turned around, and his hand moved to form a seal to use a spell. However, at this moment, the ulcer's mouth moved slightly and Master Void immediately stopped. It was as if an invisible force had suddenly interrupted his spell. Master Void's expression changed greatly, and at this moment, Zhou Yi pierced through the flames toward Master Void. He was so fast that he landed on Master Void's chest in an instant. A thunder rumble echoed across the hall and he coughed out blood. He then staggered a few steps backwards. Crackling sounds came from the floor as the ground he stepped turned to powder. The sword energy dissipated and turned back into Zhou Yi. His face was pale and his body was transparent as a large amount of spiritual energy had left his body. He looked as if he could disappear at any time. It seemed that although this attack had done damage to Master Void, Zhou Yi was also hurt in the process. Zhou Yi retreated next to Wang Wei and Hu Wan. He sent a message to Wang Lin. "Wang Lin, my sword energy wasn't enough to kill him, but I caused his previous injuries to erupt and made them worse." With that, Zhou Yi sat down and quickly began to heal himself. He unexpectedly took out pills from somewhere and devoured them. These pills were specially made for spirit bodies. They were in tea made to look like pills and instead looked like flowing spiritual energy. Master Void's face was deathly pale. He had already been seriously injured and had suppressed his injuries along the way so they wouldn't worsen. However, thanks to Zhou Yi's desperate blow, his injuries erupted once more, causing his cultivation level to fall once more. Although he wasn't down to the early stage of Nirvana Shatterer yet, if his injuries worsened, he wouldn't be far off. This was the first time he had felt a chill in his heart, and he retreated a few more steps. His right hand formed a seal and quickly pointed at his body, allowing him to barely stabilize. However, this action caused him to cough out more blood. He had a ferocious expression, but he wasn't looking at Wang Lin or Zhou Yi. Instead, he was locked onto the All-Seer. The All-Seer's expression remained neutral as Master Void's gaze made him feel no discomfort, and he calmly said, "Fellow cultivator Master Void." I would only dare to help you if you were brought down to such a state. With that, the Ulcer looked at Wang Wei and Hu Huan and smiled. I hope the celestial cloud couple will give this old man face. How about we forget all personal grievances today and focus on getting to the next floor? Ling Tiano's expression became gloomy. How could he not see that the All-Seer had secretly made a move? He silently moved next to Master Void and coldly looked at Wang Lin and company. There was also that old man on the gourd, who had an indifferent expression as he looked at everyone. However, where he stood clearly showed that he would stand on the Ulcer and Master Void's side. At the same time, the girl who was suspected to be the brilliant Void Saintess stood up and went to Master Void. Her beautiful gaze swept by before landing on Wang Lin, and she softly said, "Fellow cultivator Wang, let us stop this matter today. Once you leave here, my brilliant Void Realm won't participate in this matter." Aside from the man in black, everyone else had clearly picked a side. Wang Lin's eyes lit up, and he clasped his hands at Wang Wei. Junior was reckless. I'll let Senior decide this matter. Although Wang Wei was not happy about Wang Lin attacking earlier, he nodded when he saw that Wang Lin knew when to stop. His gaze landed on the Ulcer and company, and he calmly said, "Good. Let's put aside all personal grievances for now. The last 3 floors are filled with dangers, so please, fellow cultivators, don't hold back. After we transfer to the 7th floor, meet at the center." After Wang Wei finished speaking, the All-Seer and company smiled and nodded. Hu Huan stood up and walked next to the stone tablet. She placed her jade-like hand on the tablet and gently pressed. Purple light came from the tablet and rumbling sounds came from it as if it was shaking. In an instant, a large amount of cracks appeared on the ground and suddenly collapsed, revealing a starry sky. Everyone fell in and disappeared. As for Zhou Yi, Wang Wei brought him toward the starry sky-like transfer array. The 7th floor of the Celestial Emperor Cave was very different from the first 6 floors. There were no pavilions, and it was covered in a sea of flames, as if it was its own world. In this not-so-big space, there was an erupting volcano in the center, and it was surrounded by a large amount of black fog. Rumbling sounds came from the volcano and fire occasionally rained down from the sky. The ground seemed to be divided by cracks into countless pieces that floated on the magma. Black gas came out from the cracks and gave off intense heat. Everyone was scattered when they were teleported here. When Wang Lin landed, he immediately looked around and frowned. Wrong. Everything here was completely different from the 7th floor on the map. There was no resemblance at all. Wang Lin's expression was gloomy as he looked ahead and saw Hu Huan about 1,000 feet away. Hu Huan looked around, and there was also confusion in her eyes. When Wang Lin looked at her, Hu Huan also looked at Wang Lin. She had long suspected that Wang Lin had had some fortunate encounter and had become very familiar with this cave. Now that she saw Wang Lin's gaze, she let out a wry smile and shook her head. Wang Lin withdrew his gaze. It seemed Hu Huan's expression wasn't fake, and she was also confused about the changes here. The place is completely flat with only the volcano. The entrance to the 8th floor must be in the volcano. Hu Huan's voice spread out and landed in everyone's ears. Master Void was in the distance with a pale face. Even with the fiery light, his face didn't look red at all. His right hand was over his chest and bursts of pain came from it from time to time. There was a strange sword energy there that prevented the wound from healing. All-Seer, Wang Lin, and that sword spirit, I'll remember this. If I don't pay you all back 10 times, no 100 times, then I'll never give up. He gloomily looked around. Damn it. Even the Celestial Emperor Cave is working against me. It unexpectedly has such powerful fire origin energy. I fear that it will benefit that little bastard. Master Void roared in his heart, but then he suddenly realized something and became covered in cold sweat. The drop in cultivation level caused my personality to change. How can I be angered so easily? Master Void took a deep breath as he suppressed the anger in his heart and forced himself to calm down. Wang Wei stepped next to Hu Huan, and the two of them turned into 2 rays of light, heading toward the volcano. At this moment, the All-Seer and company also got up and charged at the volcano. The beautiful woman, the old man on the gourd, and the man in black flew toward the volcano. Master Void coldly stared at Wang Lin, and also flew toward the volcano. Wang Lin casually moved forward in the air. He knew his cultivation couldn't match that of the old monsters before him, so would naturally not lead the charge, but slowly move forward. Another person also slowed down in the distance, the suspected brilliant void saintess. Her beautiful eyes fell on Wang Lin, and she stopped as if she was waiting for Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression was cold. When he saw the girl in pink stop, he simply went around her in an arc. He was unwilling to interact much with her and slowly closed in on the volcano. When the girl in pink saw Wang Lin move around her, she let out a snort and no longer paid him any attention but flew toward the volcano. Seeing the girl in pink leave, Wang Lin's eyes revealed a strange light. Although this place was different from the map, as Wang Lin slowly moved, he saw traces of celestial J remnants within the cracks. It was obvious that countless years ago, this was the 7th layer of the Celestial Emperor Cave. It was just that some unimaginable thing had happened, causing this place to become a flaming ruin. Looking at the towering volcano, Wang Lin closed his eyes and his divine sense spread out. After a long time, he opened his eyes and was even more confident in his speculation. This volcano didn't appear out of nowhere. It was moved here by someone. The closer he got to it, the more evidence he saw that supported this idea. Wang Lin clearly saw that the rocks around the volcano were completely different from the ground. I guess everyone must have also seen something strange about the volcano. Wang Lin stood at the foot of the volcano and was in no rush to enter. His eyes lit up as he looked around until his gaze fell on the magma flowing out from the crack. The high temperature from the magma didn't make Wang Lin feel discomfort, and in fact made him feel very comfortable. Even the origin energy inside his body became more active. The change here benefits me. Wang Lin's right hand reached into the magma in the crack. He immediately felt the endless fire element inside the magma. His right hand was inside the magma, and the heat from it made him very comfortable. His origin energy moved inside his body and formed a vortex. A suction force came from Wang Lin's body, and he used his right hand as a bridge. The fire origin energy from the magma suddenly moved and was slowly pulled into Wang Lin's body. I have already learned the first 3 of Celestial Emperor Baifan's 6 spells. However, according to senior brother Qing Shui, the latter 3 spells contain the true essence of Baifan's power, and the first of those 3 is Mountain Crumbles. In the slaughter domain, I saw Qing Shui use it, and it was very similar to a volcanic eruption. Wang Lin pondered while he absorbed the fire origin energy and looked at the majestic volcano. To Wang Lin's right, the man in black with the hidden black dragon also didn't enter the volcano, but sat down and placed his left hand inside the magma in the crack. Like Wang Lin, he was also absorbing the origin energy within the fire. He would sometimes look at Wang Lin with fear and hostility in his eyes. Vermilion bird, if I devour the vermilion bird, will my flame dragon awaken a second time? Feebly asking, 4,000 words, does that count as a major chapter? Could it be hoping for the like button for the video and the followers too? Chapter. The fire element origin energy was extremely dense in the 7th floor of the Celestial Emperor Cave. In particular, the magma contained even more. As Wang Lin absorbed large amounts of fire origin energy, it entered his body and wrapped around his origin soul, nourishing his origin soul that had adapted to fire origin energy. A very comfortable feeling emerged in Wang Lin's mind. Although he had devoured a lot of pills on the 6th floor, and his injuries had recovered a bit, they were still not completely healed. At this moment, as he absorbed fire origin energy, his injuries began to recover once more. Although it was slow, it gave Wang Lin hope. However, most people had already entered the inner part of the volcano, and Wang Lin let out a sigh. During the 1 month he spent healing, he had asked Wang Wei about the method of curing the 7th heaven poison. However, back in the celestial realm, Wang Wei and Hu Huan rarely came into contact with poison. Although they had heard of the 7th heaven poison and knew a bit about it, they didn't know the specifics. In the end, he still had to place his hope of curing Situ Nun's poison on Celestial Emperor Qing Lin or Qing Shuang. Knowing that he couldn't stay on the 7th floor for too long, Wang Lin took a deep breath, and the origin energy in his body moved even faster. A more powerful suction force came from his hand as he absorbed more fire origin energy before withdrawing his hand. Wang Lin jumped up and entered through the top of the volcano. The moment Wang Lin got up, the man in black also went up and headed to the top of the volcano from another direction. Wang Lin had already noticed that the man in black could also absorb fire origin energy like him. This person also had a mark between their eyebrows, which made Wang Lin vigilant. Wang Lin didn't move very fast and moved up like a gentle breeze. He gradually arrived at the top of the volcano. There was a huge opening at the top of the volcano, and dense black fog slowly spread out from inside. High temperatures filled the area. Even the rocks near the mouth of the volcano were bright red. It looked very shocking. Floating above the red rocks at the mouth of the volcano, Wang Lin's expression was neutral, as the high temperature brought him no discomfort. Looking down, the inside of the mouth of the volcano was shrouded with a fiery glow and a phantom-like black smoke that occasionally could charge out. Without hesitation, Wang Lin stepped out and charged at the volcano's entrance like a meteor. Wang Lin's divine sense spread out around him when he charged in. The black smoke coming from inside the volcano suddenly disappeared. Waves of heat rushed at him. When the heat got near him, all the pores on his body opened up and absorbed the fire origin energy inside the heat. Wang Lin's eyes revealed a strange light and he sank even faster. Behind him, the man in black also descended, but kept a certain distance. He didn't want to attract Wang Lin's killing intent for being too close. The man in black had learned that Wang Lin wasn't someone who was easy to deal with during his brief contact with him. Wang Lin was someone decisive and ruthless, but also very cunning. Even the likes of Master Void had repeatedly been forced into terrible situations that caused his cultivation level to drop greatly. If anyone changed positions with Wang Lin, they would find it difficult to walk among so many powerhouses. He was even able to borrow pressure from others to suppress the enemy, causing Master Void to end up in a difficult situation. Thinking about this, the man in black felt even more dread, especially when he recalled Wang Lin's gaze and arrogant words before leaving the first floor. The aura Wang Lin had after forcing Master Void away was something the man in black couldn't forget. Moreover, although he could absorb the fire origin energy here, he was still inferior to the vermilion bird that had control over all the fire in the world. I desired to devour this person. Difficult. The man in black sighed to himself. Wang Lin naturally didn't know the man in black's complex thoughts. He moved faster and faster as he constantly absorbed the heat wave coming at him. The deeper he went, the more intense the heat became. The surrounding rocks had countless cracks on them and were no longer red, but dark red. This meant that the fire poison here was even stronger. The walls here weren't smooth, and they would often have rocks sticking out. Wang Lin's body flickered and landed on one of those rocks that were sticking out. The rock was dark red, and it released bursts of black gas. The moment Wang Lin stood on the rock, gravel fell off and sank into the volcano. The moment he landed, Wang Lin suddenly inhaled, and the powerful heat waves below were all sucked into his mouth. It looked like Wang Lin was devouring a sea of flames. The heat turned into flame essence as it was inhaled into Wang Lin's body. Then he retreated a steps, and his face turned red, but his eyes were extremely bright. The origin energy in his body moved like crazy, and continued to digest the fire origin energy. After 7 minutes, Wang Lin looked up, let out a cold snort, and descended deeper into the volcano. The moment Wang Lin left, the man in black landed on this rock. There was a trace of terror in his eyes. To devour fire origin energy like this person is a madman. Fire origin energy was the most violent. The man in black knew he wouldn't dare to devour like this. He could only absorb it as if he was guiding it. Wang Lin moved faster and faster. Soon he arrived at the bottom of the volcano. His gaze pierced the heat waves and smoke below, allowing him to see everything below. The bottom of the volcano was filled with dark red magma. It was a sea of magma. Occasionally, bubbles would swell up, and whenever one burst, an intense heat wave would charge upwards toward the top of the volcano. Black smoke also floated up and was pushed up with the heat wave. There was a palace stuck between the walls of the volcano above the sea of magma. This palace looked exactly the same as the entrance to the next floor in the last 6 floors. However, at this moment, the gate was closed and a complex word was drawn on it with black blood. This extravagant word looked like a tattoo, but also didn't. Just looking at it gave off a crazy feeling, as if it could turn the world upside and reverse the heavens. The moment Wang Lin saw the word, his eyes suddenly narrowed. He recognized the word as it was the language that belonged to the ancient God clan. It was also the language of the ancient demon and ancient devil clan. Devil. It was the word devil. At this moment, outside the palace, Wang Wei, Hu Huan, and Bei Lu formed a group and the All-Seer and company formed another. They floated in the air and stared at the gate of the palace. Ling Tianhou, the old man on the gourd, and the beautiful woman were constantly using spells to constantly attack the gate. However, due to the heat, the sounds from the impacts were fragmented. The sounds weren't able to spread far, and weren't able to echo. Wang Lin's arrival caused Master Void to raise his head, and a trace of killing intent appeared in his eyes. However, he quickly suppressed it. Wang Lin moved next to Wang Wei and Hu Huan. He looked at the gate and frowned. At this moment, Ling Tianhou let out a roar, and the 4 origin swords behind him crashed into the door. The word devil on the door flashed intensely, but it showed no signs of taking any damage. I can open the seal to enter the 8th floor. Ling Tianhou let out a cold snort and retreated. The beautiful woman and the old man on the gourd also shook their heads and gave up. Wang Wei and Hu Huan also frowned. They had tried it before and couldn't break it either. With this seal here, they wouldn't be able to enter the palace. Wang Lin stared at the word devil on the gate of the palace. He knew that with these old monsters here, there was obviously no need for him to do anything. He sat down on a rock not far away before closing his eyes and beginning to cultivate. Although he was cultivating, he was still on guard. Not far away from Wang Lin, the girl in pink stood on a rock slightly lower than Wang Lin. Countless snowflakes surrounded her, resisting the high temperature. The rock below her feet even showed signs of freezing. Time slowly passed. The man in black that was behind Wang Lin had arrived a long time ago. He cautiously floated on the side and stared at the palace while pondering. The word devil on the palace gate contained an unimaginable sealing force. Almost everyone, including Wang Wei, Hu Huan, the All-Seer, and even Bei Lu, took turns attacking in succession. In the end, both sides attacked at once, and the sounds of the attack unexpectedly broke through the heat waves. The echoes formed caused large amounts of rocks to fall from the volcano. The rumbling sounds echoed even louder as everyone continued to attack. In the end, the sounds merged together and even echoed outside the volcano. If you were outside the volcano, you would be able to hear the muffled rumbles. In the end, with a final attack from Bei Lu, all of the spells gathered into a massive storm that swept toward the palace. There was a heaven-shattering rumble, and the whole volcano seemed to tremble. The magma below raged as if there was an earthquake. The word devil on the palace suddenly collapsed. The gate opened. However, a shocking change occurred the moment the gate opened. Leo dreams of getting a lot of likes for this video, having many followers, plenty of shares, and everyone praising his good reading and the number of words he can read. So happy. Chapter. The moment the word devil dissipated and the gate opened, the sea of magma below suddenly began to churn violently. Bursts of muffled roars came from the magma, and then, with a bang, the magma below charged up into the sky. It was as if an unimaginable force was pushing the magma up. The volcano was erupting. A temperature several times higher than before suddenly emerged when the magma charged up. The intense temperature even caused a lot of the surrounding rocks to immediately fracture. Before they could even fall, they were turned into black gas and pushed up. At this moment, if you looked at the volcano from the outside, you would see that the volcano was trembling and black smoke several times stronger was coming out. Large amounts of black smoke rushed out into the air as if it wanted to cover the entire sky. As the black smoke was sprayed out, it covered the entire sky in almost an instant, not allowing any light to penetrate through. Only the magma between the cracks of the earth glowed, vaguely lighting up the area. The moment the door opened inside the volcano, Bei Lu rushed out into the palace as the magma rushed up. Everyone else regained their senses and followed him. However, everyone's speed was a bit slower, and the monstrous magma rushed up. If this was it, it wouldn't be enough to scare these powerful cultivators. However, as the magma passed by, a giant arm reached out and grabbed the beautiful woman. The beautiful woman exclaimed and wanted to dodge, but she was too slow before the hand. She was shrouded by flames in an instant and was pulled into the magma. This sudden scene shocked the hearts of the surrounding cultivators. However, this wasn't over yet. As the magma rushed out, a roar came out from the magma and echoed around like a sonic boom. This caused the surrounding rocks to collapse even more. As the roar echoed, a purplish-red coffin came out from the raging magma. The roar from the coffin became even stronger. Wang Wei and Hu Wan's expressions changed greatly. The two obviously knew about the coffin. Without hesitation, the two of them each formed a seal and joined the seals together. They became transparent and instantly passed everyone as they charged into the palace. The moment they entered the palace, the coffin collapsed and scattered into countless pieces that fell on everyone. At the same time, a red-robed old man walked out from the coffin. This red-robed old man contained no vitality and was filled with death aura. The moment he appeared, he charged toward everyone. The Alzer's eyes lit up and his mouth moved as if he was saying something. Then the red-robed old man suddenly stopped. Taking advantage of the red-robed old man's pause, the Alzer waved his sleeves and charged at the palace. Just at this moment, the red-robed old man's body collapsed and a roar came out from within. Then a sea of flames appeared and turned into a fire dragon that attempted to devour everyone. The expression of the girl in pink surrounded by the snowflakes turned pale as she rushed toward the palace. However, before she could enter, her body turned into a ray of light and was inhaled by the fire dragon. Seeing that everyone was charging toward the palace and not worrying about others, Wang Lin had already left the rock and shot toward the palace. However, just as he was about to enter the palace, Master Void, who was the last person to enter the palace, suddenly turned around and coldly stared at Wang Lin. Before Master Void could attack, the fire dragon arrived. The fire dragon was so big that it could devour the entire palace. Wang Lin felt a powerful suction force, and he was devoured along with the palace by the fire dragon. The fire dragon devoured everything and then charged into the magma. The magma began churning even more violently when the dragon dove into it. The magma continued to surge up faster and faster until it erupted out from the volcano and covered the sky. Then the magma fell as balls of fire onto the ground. Only after a long time did everything end, and the volcano stopped erupting, leaving only black smoke coming out. The magma sank back down and the bottom of the volcano became quiet once more. However, the palace was now missing. At this moment, in the deepest part of the magma, the palace devoured by the fire dragon appeared. However, now it was surrounded by magma, so even if you were inside the palace, you could feel the intense heat. Wang Lin's figure appeared in the magma in the distance. The heat coming from the magma not only didn't injure him, it made his injuries even better. The magma was thick, and it surrounded Wang Lin with an indescribable amount of fire origin energy. The vermilion bird tattoo on this body shined brightly and even let out vermilion bird cries. He sat down and gradually sank to the bottom of the magma. He was about 10,000 feet away from the palace. Both of his hands formed a seal and dense fire origin energy entered his body. As he absorbed, his body turned red, and time slowly passed. After an unknown amount of time, Wang Lin opened his eyes. The surroundings were completely quiet. Not only was the origin energy inside his body not restrained, it became even more vigorous. While pondering, Wang Lin didn't immediately leave, but continued to cultivate. This was a very precious chance for him. It would be very difficult for him to find another place with such rich fire origin energy. Wang Lin closed his eyes and continued to absorb fire origin energy. Time passed. As Wang Lin absorbed, the amount of magma gradually reduced. During this time, Wang Lin awakened 3 times, and all 3 times were because the intense fluctuations of magma caused the volcano to erupt. Whenever he awakened, he would carefully awaken the eruption of the volcano. After the eruption was complete, he would immerse himself in absorbing once more. On this day, Wang Lin awakened for the 4th time. Although the magma still had endless fire origin energy left, Wang Lin no longer dared to continue absorbing. As he absorbed the fire origin energy, he gradually became one with the magma, and he vaguely felt that there was a strange spirit inside the magma. If he absorbed too much, it would be easy to disturb that strange spirit. According to Wang Lin's analysis, that strange spirit should be the fire dragon that devoured everything. While pondering, Wang Lin slowly stood up and walked toward the palace in the magma. However, after a few steps, Wang Lin suddenly stopped as he saw a bubble slowly closing in on the palace. After carefully looking at the bubble, Wang Lin's expression became strange, and at the same time the cultivators inside it saw Wang Lin. There were 2 people inside the bubble. They were the girl in pink and the beautiful woman who was devoured by fire dragon. The beautiful woman was unconscious, and her whole body glowed red. It seemed like she was on the edge of death. As for the girl in pink, the snowflakes around her had disappeared. There was a snowflake rune flashing between her eyebrows that released bursts of cold energy that allowed her to survive inside the bubble. She immediately saw Wang Lin approaching, and surprise and horror filled her eyes. Although she knew about Wang Lin's vermilion bird awakening, she didn't think that Wang Lin wouldn't be injured at all inside this magma, and he moved as if he was on land. No wonder those people were so terrified of the four divine sect. It seems that after the vermilion bird awakened, he unexpectedly gained a terrifying resistance to fire. The girl in pink stared at Wang Lin. She had been stuck in the magma for several months and was unable to move too fast. Fortunately, she was able to find the beautiful middle-aged woman, but she had been unconscious this whole time, and her body was filled with a strange flame. The girl wasn't able to awaken the beautiful woman. Although she was able to protect herself from the magma with the treasure her senior sister had given her, moving forward was difficult. It had taken several months for her to find the palace, but she didn't expect to see Wang Lin here. When she saw Wang Lin, the girl in pink felt her heart skip a beat and became anxious. She quickly controlled the bubble and charged straight for the palace. Due to the sudden acceleration, the bubble became unstable and seemed like it could collapse at any time. However, the girl in pink couldn't care about that anymore, and she quickly closed in on the palace. Wang Lin's expression was indifferent as he stepped toward the bubble the girl in pink and the beautiful woman were in. As he quickly closed in, the girl in pink became even more anxious. She didn't know what Wang Lin was thinking, but she knew Wang Lin and the beautiful woman's group had conflict in the past. She thought he was coming here to kill the beautiful woman. When the girl in pink saw that Wang Lin was only a few hundred feet away, she quickly shouted, "Wang Lin, you have a feud with Master Void. The two of us has no feud with you." 3,000 words in a major chapter. Wish that the like button for the video would break. Chapter. Wang Lin's expression was still cold as he instantly closed the hundreds of feet gap and arrived next to the bubble. He coldly looked at the girl in pink and the beautiful middle-aged woman. The woman in pink's eyes were wary, and the snowflake rune shined brightly. She was very nervous at this moment as she had no way of stopping Wang Lin from doing anything. The only thing she could rely on was the snowflake mark between her eyebrows. It was the life-saving treasure her senior sister had given her. Wang Lin looked at the girl and sent out a divine sense message. "Are you the brilliant void saintess?" His divine sense seemed to fuse with the magma, and a ripple echoed, causing the bubble around the girl in pink to tremble violently as if it could break at any moment. The girl in pink's face immediately turned pale. She bit her lower lip as she shook her head and said, "I'm not the brilliant void saintess. My senior sister is." Wang Lin pointed at the beautiful woman and asked, "What is your relationship with her?" "She is my elder in the brilliant void realm." The girl in pink didn't dare to not answer. If Wang Lin broke this bubble, the middle-aged woman would immediately fall into the magma. The middle-aged woman was already seriously affected by fire poison, and falling into the magma would only make it worse or cause her soul to be destroyed. "Although Master Void has harmed you, we didn't offend you." Before the girl in pink could finish speaking, her pupils shrank and she quickly retreated a few steps. The snowflake between her eyebrows began flashing. She saw that Wang Lin had already stepped through the bubble while she spoke and stood opposite of her. "Put away your treasure." Wang Lin entered the bubble and squatted down next to the beautiful middle-aged woman who was in a coma. His eyes revealed a strange light. As for girl in pink, Wang Lin didn't consider her a threat at all. Even though she had the snowflake treasure, she still wasn't a threat in Wang Lin's eyes. "What are you doing?" The girl in pink's heart pounded rapidly. When she saw Wang Lin's finger land between the beautiful middle-aged woman's eyebrows, she was going to shout at him to stop. However, just as she was about to attack, Wang Lin didn't turn around but casually pointed with his finger. Noisy. The stop spell was suddenly used and the girl in pink suddenly stopped. Although her body was stopped, the snowflakes around her split into countless more and surrounded her body, forming a tight defense. Wang Lin no longer paid any attention to the girl in pink, but placed his right index finger between the eyebrows of the middle-aged woman. Taking the chance while her origin soul was weak and unconscious, his divine sense swept through her mind. The memories of the beautiful middle-aged woman appeared in Wang Lin's mind. Although her cultivation level was higher than Wang Lin's, his divine sense swept through her memories. Whether she lived or died wasn't important. Wang Lin just wanted her memories. All memories related to the brilliant void realm were important information for Wang Lin. The real reason he needed this information was due to the figure that caused him so much pain that he saw when his mind spread out across the brilliant void realm when he reached peak of the Nirvana Scryer stage. As his divine sense spread across each of her memories, Wang Lin gradually gained an understanding of the brilliant void realm, and his expression became serious. However, none of this was information he wanted to know. As he searched her memories, the beautiful middle-aged woman's body trembled, and her eyelashes shook lightly. Her beautiful and mature face was flushed red and could cause anyone's heart to skip a beat. As Wang Lin searched her soul, it was obvious that it made it so she wasn't able to suppress the fire poison, and it showed signs of erupting. The girl in pink became anxious and looked at Wang Lin with hatred in her eyes. However, she wasn't strong enough to put up any resistance against Wang Lin's stop spell. As Wang Lin swept through the middle-aged woman's memories, he was suddenly startled as he found what he was looking for. There was an arrogant figure in her memories. This figure was the person Wang Lin saw when his mind swept through the brilliant void realm. Brilliant void Saintess Mu Bingmai. Wang Lin had a complex expression as he lifted his right index finger up. This middle-aged woman respected the brilliant void Saintess a lot, but didn't know much. She only knew that the Saintess cultivated a very strange cultivation method. Once its hits complete, the Saintess would become the strongest person in the brilliant void realm. Unfortunately, it seemed this method was extremely difficult to complete. Aside from the first-generation Saintess, no one else had succeeded in it. However, it seemed the seventh-generation Saintess Mu Bingmei had achieved some success. Liu Mei Mu Bingmei Wang Lin felt pain come from his mind. He could even feel Wang Ping, who was inside the heaven-defying bead, show signs of awakening due to the fluctuations in his mind. Thinking about Wang Ping, Wang Lin felt like his heart was cut by a knife. Wang Ping always had a wish, but he only mentioned it once in his life. After not receiving an answer, he never mentioned it again in his life. He very much wanted to see his mother once. Wang Lin stood up while silently pondering and looked at the girl in pink. From the middle-aged woman's memories, Wang Lin knew that this girl was Liu Mei's junior sister and that she cultivated the same method. Her relationship with the middle-aged woman wasn't simple. The middle-aged woman had watched the girl in pink grow up before she became Liu Mei's junior sister. Wang Lin's eyes became cold and calmly said, "If I don't save her, she will without a doubt die within 15 minutes. The beautiful woman's body was a rosy red. This red was a demonic kind of red. Lots of sweat was coming out from her body, but in the blink of an eye, it turned into white gas. If this continued, it wouldn't take long for the middle-aged woman to become a mummy, and her origin soul would be destroyed. Even if Wang Lin didn't search her memories, she wouldn't have lasted long. Maybe a bit longer, but the result would be being the same. We can make a deal. I'll save you, take you two into the palace, and into the 8th floor. In return, you will let me search your memories." Wang Lin spoke calmly and gave the girl a choice. If she agreed, it would be fine. But if she didn't, Wang Lin would attack. The girl in pink let out a bitter smile. She could see the determination in Wang Lin's words. She was smart, so she naturally knew that Wang Lin wanted to search her memories to look for something. After observing him, she knew that he was certainly searching for something related to her senior sister. Even if she didn't agree, it would be pointless. She nodded and gave up resisting. Wang Lin no longer spoke but waved his sleeves. He took the two women and stepped directly outside the bubble. He then charged straight ahead. Soon, he closed in on the palace and entered. After he entered, Wang Lin's right hand formed a seal and pointed, causing all the magma to surge out of the palace. Once no lava was left inside the palace, the gate suddenly closed shut. Although there was no more magma inside, this place still gave off intense heat. Wang Lin waved his sleeves and the two women landed on the side. His right hand reached out, and the beautiful woman's body flew toward him. Wang Lin's right hand hit multiple spots on the beautiful woman, not caring that she was female at all. Every time he hit a part of her body, her face would become a bit more red. After 7 minutes, her body was almost completely red. Wang Lin placed his right hand on her forehead, and a suction force came from his hand. All of the fire poison in her body rushed into Wang Lin's hand. The beautiful woman's body gradually returned to normal. However, she was extremely weak and fell to the side. Now it's your turn. Wang Lin looked at the girl in pink. The girl in pink bit her lower lip and, after pondering a bit, she sat down. She pointed between her eyebrows with her right hand and the snowflakes around her body slowly disappeared. She closed her eyes and remained motionless. Wang Lin didn't have any other thoughts. It was only an exchange for him. His right hand pointed between to her eyebrows and his divine sense spread out and searched her memories. The girl in pink's body trembled, but she clenched her teeth. Although searching memories was harmful, Wang Lin wasn't too tyrannical. As long as she didn't resist, he wouldn't break through by force. So, in the end, it would all depend on whether she completely gave up resisting or not. As Wang Lin searched, he gradually understood more about Mu Bingmei. After a long time, he withdrew his right hand, and his expression became even more complex. Heavenly Soul Tao, to pretend the heavens Tao has a soul and to cultivate this Tao with countless avatars. After many experiences, one will cultivate many different cultivation methods and retain their original heart while obtaining countless domains. In the end, all of the avatars unite to complete the Heavenly Soul Tao. This Heavenly Soul Tao was the peak cultivation method of the brilliant void realm, and only the first generation saintess had succeeded in cultivating it. All future generations failed, because they lost sight of their original hearts and died. This Mu Bingmei was the 7th generation saintess. She had unexpectedly found a shortcut by using her ruthless domain. After an avatar was formed from cultivating the Heavenly Soul Tao, she didn't allow it to retain her memories. Instead, she descended the avatar to survive on its own. This allowed the avatar to create a new consciousness that didn't know of the existence of the original body. Only after the avatar's cultivation level reached a certain point could the memory inheritance be activated, and the avatar would then fuse back with the original body. The heavens Tao was ruthless, so her avatar needed to be ruthless too. Also, she didn't have countless avatars like previous generation saintesses. She only had 9. She had calculated very far into the future when she selected the planets to place them on. After countless years, the first 8 avatars had all awakened while retaining their virgin bodies. However, the 9th avatar on planet Suzaku had an accident. As for what the accident was, the girl in pink didn't know. She just knew that the 9th avatar was named Liu Mei, and that it had caused her senior sister to enter a struggle. 3,000 words in a major chapter, hoping to be shared, hoping to get the like button hit for the video chapter. The girl in pink's face turned deathly pale and sweat covered her forehead. Her body became very weak, but the damage of the memory search wasn't very heavy, so she only needed to rest for a bit to recover. Wang Lin let out a sigh. He had already obtained the answer he wanted about the brilliant void saintess. Although it wasn't complete, with Wang Lin's intelligence, he was able to see the problems. After pondering for a bit, Wang Lin's gaze swept the palace and he found where to activate it. After opening this array, the 2 of you can enter the 8th floor. You'll be on your own. Wang Lin activated the transfer array and disappeared. Although he didn't kill the beautiful middle-aged woman, while searching her memories, he had destroyed all of his secrets that she saw. He had also left behind restrictions in her mind. If she continued to bother him, he could cause her mind to collapse. The moment Wang Lin entered the 8th floor of the Celestial Emperor Cave, he heard rumbling sounds from the distance and felt powerful origin energy fluctuations. The 8th floor was completely dark and enveloped in a black mist that prevented Wang Lin's divine sense from spreading out far. However, the noise became more rapid and he could vaguely hear angry roars. This voice seemed to belong to Ling Tianhu. Wang Lin's eyes became serious. After listening for a long time, Wang Lin retreated. But just as he retreated, the black mist before him churned, and Ling Tianhu charged out. At this moment, Ling Tianhu was in an extremely sorry state, and his face was filled with horror. There was a black handprint on his chest. The handprint had broken through his clothes and imprinted on his chest. As he ran, black mist moved toward that handprint. A shadow was chasing behind him through the black mist, and it had taken the form of a giant devil by using the black mist. It was chasing the escaping Ling Tianhu and was about to devour him. The fear in Ling Tianhu's eyes was even stronger, but he clenched his teeth and turned around. He opened his mouth and spat out origin energy before reaching out at the void with his hand. a spatial rift appeared and Ling Tianhua's red Qilin charged out at the roaring devil. The Qilin's body was also covered in wounds, and a large amount of blood was flowing out of them. Ling Tianhua's eyes revealed his heartache, but right now wasn't the time for him to think about it, and he shouted, "Blood sacrifice!" As he spoke, he hit the spot between his eyebrows and the remaining 2 origin swords behind him flew out. They didn't fly toward the devil, but toward the Qilin. The Qilin let out a miserable cry, but it didn't resist. It allowed the 2 origin swords to stab into it. Large amounts of blood sprayed out and immediately covered the surrounding feet area. "Beast soul appear!" As Ling Tianhu shouted, the Qilin's body suddenly exploded. As blood rained down, the Qilin's soul appeared from its collapsed body. The moment the Qilin's soul appeared, it let out a roar. This roar couldn't be heard by the physical body, only the origin soul. When that roar entered Wang Lin's ears, it was like rumbling thunder. As the Qilin soul let out a roar, it charged at the devil monster. It began biting the devil in an attempt to stop it from chasing. Ling Tianhu looked at all the Qilin blood with his bloodshot eyes. His heart was also bleeding. This Qilin had followed him for countless years and had become something too difficult for him to part with. However, at this moment, he had to personally kill it to use its blood as a sacrifice to speed up the growth of its soul. While he roared, Ling Tianhu's hand formed a seal and pointed forward. All the blood flew into the air and gathered toward where the Qilin was fighting the devil. There were traces of gold inside the blood that even caused more than half of the black mist to dissipate as it gathered toward the devil. "Wang Lin, help me. This place is dangerous. It is not a place that a single person can last in. I'll explain to you later." The reason Ling Tianhu chose to escape to this location was because he had detected someone entering. Of the people that hadn't entered, the person who was most qualified to enter first was Wang Lin. Just after entering the 8th floor, Wang Lin immediately saw Ling Tianhu in such a sorry state, and he had even destroyed his own Qilin. Wang Lin had a bad feeling about what had happened to the people that had entered the 8th floor. At this moment, he had to ask someone about what happened. Wang Lin revealed a decisive gaze and stepped out from the dark mist. Not wasting any time talking with Ling Tianhu, he jumped up and was about to use a spell. "Spells are useless against it. It will just devour them," Ling Tianhu immediately shouted, and at the same time, he slapped his bag of holding. A small red sword appeared in his hand and he threw it straight ahead. Then Ling Tianhu's heart ached as he shouted, "Explode!" After he spoke, the small sword suddenly collapsed into a destructive force that entered the devil. The devil immediately let out sharp cries. To Wang Lin, this devil was clearly an ancient devil. However, this ancient devil was a bit strange, and although it was similar to a scattered devil, it was a little different. For some reason, there were stars in this ancient devil's right eye. There was a total of 8 stars, 7 of which were dim, and only one gave off monstrous devilish energy. At this moment, the ancient devil was filled with pain, and the stars in its left eye were rotating. The one shining star became even brighter as powerful devilish energy came from it, giving it an eerie feeling. While roaring, the ancient devil's body flickered and it unexpectedly escaped the Qilin. It charged directly at Ling Tianhu. Wang Lin's pupils shrank, and his right hand formed a fist and he threw a punch. The ancient god shadow appeared, but thanks to the black mist, it wasn't clear. However, the moment he threw that punch, the ancient devil was startled and suddenly turned around. The ancient devil stared at Wang Lin and gave up on chasing Ling Tianhu. Then it turned into a shadow and charged at Wang Lin. It was obvious that he had recognized Wang Lin's ancient god aura. Wang Lin's mind moved and a black and white yin and yang symbol appeared behind him. His right hand reached out, and as the black and white gas mixed, the treasure Wang Lin had fused with his domain appeared. The Karma Whip. With the Karma Whip in hand, Wang Lin's hand shook and popping sounds came out. Then the skin on the whip peeled open, revealing strands of golden light. The moment the devil closed in, the Karma Whip closed in and landed on the devil. The ancient devil suddenly stopped, and a large amount of devilish energy sprayed out from where the whip passed. He let out a painful scream, and his eyes were bloodshot. He was about to charge again. However, the Karma Whip in Wang Lin's hand moved once more, and with a snap, it landed on the ancient devil, causing him to tremble. Wang Lin didn't stop and continued to land blows on the ancient devil. The ancient devil seemed to have become fearful of the whip and continued to retreat. However, just after it retreated hundreds of feet, the ancient devil rapidly shrank until it unexpectedly became a large handprint and whistled toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin, be careful. That devilish handprint can penetrate all forms of protection. Ling Tianhu was startled by the handprint. The injury on his chest was caused by that handprint. When Wang Lin saw the devilish handprint, his eyes shined brightly. This giant handprint gave him a very familiar feeling. As it closed in, Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he raised his right hand. The feeling of that shocking handprint he saw in the rain's celestial realm appeared in his mind. I know this handprint too. Back then, Wang Lin's cultivation level wasn't high enough, but now he was at the peak of the Nirvana Scryer stage and had the body of an ancient god. The thought of that handprint from the rain's celestial realm immediately filled his mind and replaced everything. It seemed to become an eternal existence, and it turned into a will that entered his right hand and shot forward. This palm caused the world to change colors, and thunderous rumbles echoed. All of the black mist was pushed back like crazy as if there was a powerful wind pushing it. The will contained inside this handprint contained an imposing aura that said, everything in the world belongs to me. This palm immediately turned into a giant handprint that covered the heavens and earth. It contained an indescribable pressure as it pushed forward. In an instant, it collided with the ancient devil as shadow. There was a heaven-shaking rumble that caused the entire earth to tremble. The devilish handprint collapsed with a bang and turned back into the ancient devil. His eyes were filled with horror as he let out a scream and was about to flee. However, Wang Lin's palm didn't dissipate but swept forward in a crazy manner. All of the black mist in the 8th floor began to be pushed back. Unexpectedly, this handprint had opened a large path through the black mist. The ancient devil wasn't able to escape, and the handprint caught up. It let out a mournful cry, and just as its body shattered, its left eye flashed. His left eye escaped and flew straight ahead. The handprint didn't stop and continued to move forward. All of the pavilions in the way collapsed. As the handprint moved forward, it finally collided with the edge of the palace at the center. There was a loud thud and more than half of the palace was destroyed, exposing the 99 candlesticks inside. The moment the handprint collided, one of the 2 candles that remained burning shook violently, and in the end the flame went out. The only remaining candle showed signs of extinguishing but was still struggling to stay burning. Ling Tianhu stared dumbfoundedly at all of this, and he sucked a breath of cold air. His eyes were filled with disbelief as he stared at Wang Lin. Right now a terrifying storm appeared in his heart. Tonight there will be 2 to 3 new chapters. Leo will do his utmost to make up for the chapters missing from the last 2 days. Chapter. Let us go. Wang Lin's words were concise, and he followed the road the handprint had opened. He was not as calm as he looked at this moment. He had a feeling that he was only able to display a very small portion of the true power of that handprint. If he could use it at full power, all 9 floors of this celestial emperor cave could be smashed with one handprint. Ling Tianhu quickly followed behind Wang Lin, and his dread toward Wang Lin increased as he understood Wang Lin less and less. Although he knew that his cultivation level was higher, if they were really to fight, he had a feeling that he would without a doubt lose. Wang Lin moved forward like lightning, and soon arrived next to the half-destroyed palace. He coldly looked at Ling Tianhu as he took out a large amount of pills and threw them into his mouth. Then he slapped his bag of holding and a ray of silver light flew it. The silver female corpse appeared around Wang Lin and coldly looked at Ling Tianhu. Ling Tianhu's pupils shrank. He felt like Wang Lin had become even more mysterious and powerful. I can figure this person out all. Whether it's his cultivation, spells, or anything else, I can only use the 2 words profound mystery to describe him. In Ling Tianhu's life, he had only described the All-Seer as a profound mystery, and now there was one more. He didn't use the green pill Wang Wei had given him, but instead devoured a lot of other pills to make up for the terrifying amount of origin energy that handprint had used up. The amount of origin energy he had used wasn't any less than what he used with the iron sword. However, Wang Lin just had left the magma. Aside from the fire origin energy inside his body, there were still large amounts of origin energy he hadn't absorbed yet. Also, during his months of cultivating, the vermilion bird tattoo had absorbed a lot as well. During those months of cultivation, Wang Lin noticed that the fire origin energy absorbed by his vermilion bird tattoo could be transferred to his body. It was this discovery that made Wang Lin remain so long inside the magma. After devouring the pills, Wang Lin didn't use the fire origin energy inside the vermilion bird tattoo, and instead absorbed some of the unabsorbed fire origin energy in his body. Adding on the pills he had just devoured, Wang Lin recovered a bit. He soon arrived at the half-destroyed palace with the candlesticks, and only one remained struggled to remain burning. There was no one here. Wang Lin's gaze swept the area, and then he calmly said, "What exactly happened here?" Ling Tianhu arrived inside after Wang Lin with lingering fear in his eyes and said, "When we entered from the 7th floor, there was no black fog here. However, after entering this hall and opening the entrance to the 9th floor, 3 devil shadows shot out and filled this area with black fog. Those 3 devil shadows were very strange, and Master Void was immediately seriously injured by one. Wang Wei suffered injuries from Bei Lu's sneak attack. Then, the All-Seer attacked, and he helped Bei Lu as for Hu Wan before she could do anything. She was immediately sucked into the 9th floor. I was also injured by a devil shadow. I couldn't clearly see my surroundings with this black fog as divine sense can pierce it." Ling Tianhu simply explained what happened, and as Wang Lin listened, his expression gradually turned into a frown. Wang Lin wasn't surprised about the All-Seer helping Bei Lu. The All-Seer had been to the demon spirit land many times, and Wang Lin wouldn't believe that he had never come into contact with the ancient demons. Besides, back when Wang Lin was still in the Heavenly Fate sect, he remembered that the senior brother of the Purple Division had used a spell similar to a demonic spell. He remembered that profoundly. Later, as he encountered more events, the more he thought about it, the more it confirmed his speculation. Wang Lin had also obtained the body of the scattered devil. The body was obviously the same as Ling Tianhu, only a lot younger. Wang Lin still had that body inside his bag. He believed that if he took that body out, Ling Tianhu's expression would change greatly. Even the All-Seer's expression would probably change. Ancient devil, ancient demon, All-Seer, and Ling Tianhu. There must be some strange relationship between them. Wang Lin quietly looked at the remnants of the palace, especially at the last remaining burning candle. How do we activate this place? Wang Lin had to go to the 9th floor. Whether it was for Zhou Yi or Situ Nan, he had to enter. Although Situ Nan hadn't come this far, Wang Lin firmly believed that with Situ Nan's cultivation level, he would be fine in the first few floors. However, Zhou Yi was at the 9th floor, and the hope of curing Situ Nan's poison was also on the 9th floor. Both were his benefactors, so how could Wang Lin give up? Although he knew that there were dangers on the 9th floor, if he gave up due to danger, then he wouldn't be Wang Lin. Ling Tianhu hesitated and asked, "You really want to go down?" Wang Lin nodded. Ling Tianhu pondered a bit, then a trace of madness in his eyes, and he muttered, "Forget it. You've cultivated for less time than me, but still have the guts to go. This old man's beloved beast was destroyed due to that damn thing. I've cultivated the tyrannical domain all my life, and I'm unwilling to leave just like this. The All-Seer dared to enter, so why should I be afraid?" He stepped forward and headed toward the candlesticks. He then quickly moved the candlesticks based on his memory of what Hu Huan did. The 99 candlesticks began to slowly move and loud rumbles could be heard. As they moved, they took the shape of a large formation. Bursts of ghostly light came from the candlestick and then shined brightly. At the center of the 99 candlesticks, a circle of light appeared, and dense black fog came from inside it. Ling Tianhu clenched his teeth and charged into the circle of light first. Wang Lin didn't hesitate. He took a deep breath and put away the silver female corpse before stepping into the light circle. Just as Wang Lin and Ling Tianhu entered the 9th floor, inside the palace at the center of the 9th floor, which was the same as the one on the 8th, a figure covered in dark fog raised his head and revealed a sign of struggle. There was only one light remaining between his eyebrows as the endless black gas attacked in an attempt to devour the last speck of light. Constant rumbles came from outside the palace along with angry roars. It was obvious that an intense battle was occurring outside. Outside the palace, almost everyone was present, but they were all injured. They were circling the palace, and countless devil shadows were rushing out and attacking the surrounding cultivators. No matter how much they attacked, these devil shadows didn't dissipate. If they were forced into a desperate situation, the devil shadows would collapse to form a terrifying destructive force. This caused all the surrounding people to be entangled in this battle. Master Void's face was pale, and he sat down not far away. He coughed out a mouthful of black blood and pointed at spots across his body to suppress his injuries. Beside him, the man in black was also extremely pale, and he sat there cultivating, but his eyes were locked straight ahead. The Alzer waved his large sleeves, and every time he did so, he would launch many powerful attacks, breaking everything coming at him. As for Wang Wei, he had a gloomy expression as the monstrous water curtains around him attacked like crazy. There were two reasons why he was attacking like crazy. One was his master, Qing Lin, and the second was Hu Huan, who was immediately sucked into the 9th floor. This caused him to become distracted, allowing Bei Lu the chance to launch a sneak attack. Along with the All-Seer's help, they were able to injure Wang Wei, but Wang Wei had too many pills. He simply took some and ignored Bei Lu and the Ulcer as he rushed into the 9th floor to look for Hu Huan. Bei Lu was on the other side. Demonic energy filled his body, forming a powerful demonic flame around him. An ancient demon shadow appeared behind him, but this shadow was almost corporeal, and it gave off a powerful demonic aura. Whenever he raised his right hand, countless spells would fly out, attacking the devil shadows, and he shouted, "Tajia, I know your devil shadow spell consumes the most devilish energy. I want to see how much more you can waste." What answered Bei Lu was a cold, hoarse voice that caused everyone's hearts to feel a chill. This voice was ethereal and contained a devilish pressure. "Bei Lu, when I finish my possession, you will know how much devilish energy I have now." After hearing this, Wang Wei's eyes turned red. Then both of his hands moved and a blue light appeared before him. In the blink of an eye, it turned into a surging sea that filled the entire sky like a real ocean. Wang Wei roared, and then this monstrous ocean came crashing down from the sky at the dark fog outside the palace. The old man on the gourd also attacked as he turned into countless spells and charged into the black fog to begin a slaughter with the devil shadows. Zhou Yi was also here, but he was even weaker than before. He had an anxious gaze as he looked at the black mist before him. However, the devilish energy in him was too strong. As a spirit body, he was finding it difficult to resist the devilish energy. It was at this moment that Wang Lin and Ling Tianhu arrived. This 9th floor was not big. Aside from the palace, there was nothing else. The moment they arrived, they saw the unprecedented fierce battle before them. Ancient Demon Bei Lu's shadow and Wang Wei's monstrous waves were the most noticeable. At this moment, the All-Seer's eyes revealed a strange light as he pointed at the sky and said, "Heavenly Fate Finger." After he spoke, a majestic vortex appeared in the sea formed by Wang Wei's spell. Then a powerful pressure descended from the above. A giant finger came out of the water and mercilessly pressed down on the palace covered in black fog. Good night, everyone. We will meet again tomorrow. Just wait a moment. Remember to like the video. Chapter. The monstrous ocean suddenly smashed down as if it wanted to destroy everything in the world. The All-Seer's finger also descended from the sky. Ancient Demon Bei Lu opened his arms, and the ancient demon shadow behind him detached from his body. There was a flash of light, and 24 small illusionary flags surrounded the ancient demon shadow. As the ancient demon pointed forward, the 24 small flags released an unimaginable pressure. Various illusions of ancient gods and ancient devils appeared. There were even some fierce beasts from ancient times. They filled the sky. Various spells descended from the sky outside the palace at this moment. Master Void clenched his teeth and was going to attack, but when he realized that Wang Lin was here, he immediately stopped. The man in black also didn't move, but a trace of greed appeared in his eyes. Inside the palace was a seriously injured celestial emperor Qing Lin. Even if the ancient devil was here, they still had more people, and they weren't lacking in powerful cultivators, so even the ancient devil would be afraid. As long as I can obtain 3 drops of Qing Lin's blood, my mission will be complete. Then the Lord will help me increase my cultivation level greatly. Even the old man on the gourd's eyes lit up. He stopped attacking and took a few steps back. Then greed appeared in his eyes. He came here with the All-Seer, so he hadn't encountered too much trouble. He wasn't here to obtain the secret of the 3rd step from Qing Lin. He wanted his celestial spells. When the All-Seer, Bei Lu, and Wang Wei's spells landed, there was a violent rumble and countless cracks appeared on the earth, making it seem as if it was going to collapse. When the All-Seer's finger landed, the entire earth collapsed, and even the entire celestial emperor cave began to shake. All 9 floors were affected. Then, Adding the numerous illusions summoned by Beilu's flags, what shook wasn't merely the Celestial Emperor Cave, but the entire demon spirit land. The collapse of the ground caused the entire 9th floor to turn into ruin. When the 3 powerful spells descended, Beilu's hoarse voice roared like crazy. And then all the black fog around the palace charged the 3 powerhouses. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Waves of heaven-shaking rumbles echoed. Wang Lin and Ling Tianhu quickly flew forward. Before they got close, they felt the unimaginable impact from ahead. However, just as the spells and the black fog collided, causing the world to change colors, the last candle in the palace on the 8th floor struggled for a moment and then extinguished. The moment the candle extinguished, the light between the eyebrows of the middle-aged man on the throne disappeared. Then large amounts of devilish energy rushed in and occupied the entire area. At this instant, the man suddenly raised his head, and the confusion in his eyes disappeared, replaced with a terrifying devilish flame. There were now 8 stars rapidly rotating in his left eye. He revealed a gloomy smile as he slowly stood up. He had been sitting here for countless years, and during these countless years, his body wasn't able to move an inch. However, at this moment, he moved. The moment the middle-aged man stood up, monstrous devilish energy surged out and countless cracks appeared on the palace he was in. Then the palace shattered into countless pieces and scattered everywhere. Even the black fog outside quickly entered the collapsed palace and went toward the middle-aged man. A suit of black armor suddenly appeared on his body. At this moment, Wang Wei saw the palace collapse, and he saw the figure inside the collapsed palace. His eyes were filled with shock and pain. "Teacher!" There was a trace of madness in the all-seer's eyes. He had waited a very long time for this day. On the other side, Beilu sucked in a breath of cold air and intense killing intent appeared in his eyes. He has just finished the possession, and it hasn't stabilized yet. I can let him consolidate his power. The moment the middle-aged man stood up, all the restrictions in the first fight floors flickered intensely as if they were cheering, and then they all collapsed. What was even more terrifying was that the demon spirit land changed greatly when he stood up. All the demonic energy was swept away from the demon spirit land, reverting it to the celestial spirit heaven realm. However, at this moment, endless devilish energy surged out and covered the entire sky above the celestial spirit heaven realm. The celestial beasts that had just recovered were swept by the devilish energy. Once the devilish energy passed, they became extremely bloodthirsty, ferocious beasts. Not only the demon spirit land, but even the endless starry sky the demon spirit land was in was filled with devilish energy. It turned into a huge illusory devil shadow, and it let out an arrogant laugh. This laugh was silent, but it enveloped the entire alliance. This was an unimaginable kind of power. The war in the alliance that had lasted for half a year still continued. Countless cultivators had died, but the ruthless battle had made both sides' eyes red from slaughter. Large amounts of Alheaven cultivators came from Alheaven, and the alliance moved out almost all the cultivators in the northern region. The entire northern region was covered in the thick smell of blood. Even Master Flamespark had almost gone crazy from killing. However, just as the two sides were immersed in endless slaughter, that silent laugh passed by. Master Flamespark was startled, and even the Alliance Elder fighting him was aghast at the situation. They weren't the only ones. All the surrounding ordinary cultivators began to tremble, but they didn't know the reason. In the distant Alliance headquarters, there were still some surviving Celestials like Wang Wei and Hu Huan. They were the backbone of the Alliance, and they were about to head out to join the battle in the northern region. However, the silent laugh passed by their ears. The expressions of these former Celestials changed greatly and terror filled their eyes. This sound is Celestial Emperor Qing Lin. Even the middle-aged man in the secret room on the planet above the vortex, deep within the Alliance headquarters, suddenly opened his eyes. The moment his eyes opened, the bell on the ceiling suddenly collapsed with a bang. Celestial Emperor. At the same time, the old man that noticed Wang Lin in the brilliant void realm suddenly looked up. It was as if his gaze could penetrate into the distance and look at the demon spirit land. His expression had never been so serious before. Beside him, the cold, brilliant void Saintess Mu Bingmei was also startled. "He has awakened." "No, it's not him." The old man's expression changed. There was a hint of melancholy, a hint of relief, but also a hint of disappointment. In the burning starfield that was a forbidden land for the alliance that belonged to the Vermilion Bird Divine sect of the Four Divine sect. There was a 100 feet wide white rock that was within the deepest part of the starfield. This was where the source of the flames was. This rock had an irregular shape, and it wasn't tea-red, but snow-white. However, the temperature from this rock was unimaginable. Even the current Wang Lin would melt if he came within 1,000 feet OT, and even his vermilion bird would instantly die. Even a 5-star ancient god wouldn't be able to last if they went within this 1,000 feet of this rock. This seemingly ordinary stone was the source of this burning starfield. It was because of this that the starfield had continued to burn over the countless years. At this moment, there was an old man sitting on top of this rock. This old man looked far too old with his loose skin, and a dense death aura filled him. From a distance, he didn't look like a person, but a pile of dead flesh. However, no one dared to underestimate this old man. He was the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor. Even back then, his fame shook the stars. Due to some special reason, he didn't enter the celestial realm, but there would have been a place for him there. At this moment, the old man opened his eyes. He looked ahead and revealed a hint of melancholy. Could it be that my Vermilion Bird Divine sect really can rise once more? There was a planet among the stars that most people didn't pay attention to or directly ignored. It was a rank 6 cultivation planet, and it was called Planet Suzaku. On Planet Suzaku, in the place where it was once a sea of fog, there lay the land of the ancient god. Within the blood sea of the land of the ancient god, a red-haired man slowly raised his head and revealed a hint of contempt in his eyes. This 8-star ancient devil is just a waste. In another 100 years, I, Tuo Sen, will be able to leave this place. At that time, will anyone who can hinder me appear? As Tuo Sen's voice echoed, the sea of blood churned and raged like a monstrous wave. The land of the ancient god was a separate space in the void that Tu Si had opened up. His body was stored in this space. It was impossible to describe how large his body was. Even a cultivation planet was like a children's toy next to it. His rough skin and huge fist gave off an earth-shattering pressure that filled the void. However, as the blood sea raged with Tuo Sen's words, Tu Si's right index finger suddenly moved a bit. 4,000 words in a major chapter. Read an extra 1,000 words, wishing for the like button on the video to help. Chapter 1062. Power of the Ancient Demon. The collapse of the palace was like a storm that was suddenly stopped, and then all of its force scattered outwards. The middle-aged man that stood up was the former #1 person who had no rivals among the 4 celestial realms, Celestial Emperor Qing Lin. However, right now his eyes were filled with powerful devilish flames, and he was enveloped by a suit of black armor. The scale-like armor covered his entire body. The monstrous devilish energy formed a cloak behind him that moved without any wind. At the end of the cloak, the impressive shadow of an ancient devil appeared. The dense armor completely covered his appearance, with only the devilish flame in his eyes giving off a red glow. The moment the palace collapsed, he stepped out. At this moment, outside the collapsed palace, Wang Wei's magnificent sea spell covered the sky. The collapse of the palace was too fast, so Wang Wei had no time to stop his spell. The surging waves smashed down like crazy on the collapsed palace. At this instant, it was as if everything in this world was replaced by the sea, and water vapor filled the world. A heaven-shaking amount of celestial spiritual energy flooded the area at this moment. It felt almost corporeal and could shake one's mind. Just this spell was enough to make Wang Wei one of the most powerful cultivators today. The entire world seemed to be submerged by this raging sea. Wang Lin sucked in a breath of cold air. From what he could see, Wang Wei's strength was comparable to Qing Shui's, if his G realm wasn't included. However, just as the raging sea arrived, the middle-aged man clad in armor took a step and arrived in the air. Just a small trick! With a trace of bloodthirst and madness, the man raised his right hand and randomly waved. Large amounts of black gas suddenly came from his hand and immediately flooded the sky, covering the sea. The sea Wang Wei had created exploded into countless raindrops that scattered everywhere. It was as if Wang Wei's spell was mere child's play before this man. Teacher-disciple was late. Wang Wei's face was pale as he retreated hundreds of feet and arrived next to Zhou Yi. He looked at the middle-aged man with pain in his eyes, but he quickly suppressed it and revealed a determined gaze. Zhou Yi hadn't recovered from injuring Master Void and was in danger here. Wang Wei waved his hand, and Zhou Yi naturally knew Wang Wei's intent. Zhou Yi looked at Wang Lin before turning into a light, and was put into Wang Wei's bag. In the sky, after Wang Wei's sea was shattered, the All-Seer's finger that seemed like it could support the heavens descended. It was filled with powerful origin energy, and it slowly descended from the sky. Although it looked slow, it was extremely fast. The rumbling sounds echoed as if a hole was being opened in the sky by the finger. Even the black fog was pierced through as it came crashing down on the man below. A strange whistling sound echoed, but before it could get close, the middle-aged man's right hand reached out. With a bang, the finger began to collapse in the middle. It was as if a power far stronger than this finger had broken it in half, causing the entire finger to break inch by inch. The rumbling was heaven-shaking. The finger that made Wang Lin's scalp tingle collapsed and disappeared in the blink of an eye. All of this happened in an instant. The moment the middle-aged man stepped out, both Wang Wei and the All-Seer's spells collapsed. However, the man in armor didn't stop and took another step. He moved at an indescribable speed and immediately arrived before ancient demon Bei Lu. The 8 stars in his left eye flashed as he raised his right hand and casually waved it at all the illusions summoned by the small flags. The endless black fog covering the sky suddenly shrank and surrounded him and Bei Lu. All of this happened so fast that by the time people could react, they only saw black fog. Waves of rumbles echoed inside the black fog. The black fog churned, and Bei Lu's angry roars could be heard. Tajia, even though you possess Qinglin's body, if you don't have enough time, you can possibly devour Qinglin's soul or display all of Qinglin's strength from back then. So what? It is enough to kill all of you. A hoarse and gloomy voice came out, along with spell fluctuations. When it landed in everyone's ears, it was as if bones were being rubbed together. Everyone couldn't help but feel a chill in their hearts. The All-Seer's eyes revealed a strange light, then he unexpectedly charged into the black fog. The rumbling from the black fog became even louder. Wang Wei clenched his teeth and rushed into the black fog as well. These 3 powerhouses had entered the black fog, and the heaven-shaking collisions of their spells echoed. There were also crazy fluctuations of origin energy and celestial spiritual energy that spread. Master Void looked at the black fog with a serious expression, and the man in black beside him did the same. The old man on the gourd also hesitated and stopped at the edge of the black fog. As for Ling Tianhu, he looked at the black fog with a gloomy expression. Wang Lin immediately retreated without hesitation, although he didn't know everything that was going on. The man in the armor that had come out of the palace was the same person that interfered with his nether guide when he was inside Bottle World and gave him the yellow crystal. When Wang Wei shouted teacher, it confirmed Wang Lin's speculation. That person was the strongest person in the celestial realm, Celestial Emperor Qing Lin. Connecting all the information from before, the karma of everything is about to reveal itself. In the past, Celestial Emperor Qing Lin was seriously injured during the collapse of the celestial realm and was forced to go into closed-door cultivation. However, ancient devil Tajia and ancient demon Bei Lu took this opportunity to ambush Qing Lin. They wanted to steal Qing Lin's body to take his cultivation and memories. However, Qing Lin was very powerful, and even after being seriously injured, he was still incredibly powerful. Even with the ancient devil and ancient demon working together, they couldn't completely defeat Qing Lin. Finally, Qing Lin came to the celestial spirit heaven realm, where their battle reached a peak. In that battle, ancient demon Bei Lu was split into 9 parts by force. He had no choice but to become 9 ancient demon spirits and hide himself for countless years in the celestial spirit heaven realm until he could reform. As for ancient devil Tajia, he was able to enter Qing Lin's body, and he tried to take over. However, Qing Lin was able to arrive on the 9th floor of this cave. The moment he sat down, he used the 99 candles to resist the ancient devil. However, ancient devil Tajia was also a powerful being. He unexpectedly filled the entire cave with devilish energy, and even caused some of Qing Lin's guards to walk down the devil's path. They eventually ended up under his command. As for the scattered devil that was out in the demon spirit land and had the same body as Ling Tianhu, I fear there is something else behind that. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. With his intelligence, he immediately had a rough idea of the situation inside the cave. Just as hundreds of thoughts flashed through Wang Lin's head, While he was rapidly retreating, a deafening sound came from the black fog. Along with this sound, the black fog rapidly spread outwards. Wang Wei's body charged out from the expanding black fog. As he floated in the air, he coughed out a mouthful of blood and looked dispirited. However, the sadness on his face and the pain in his heart suppressed any injuries. Just as Wang Wei was forced out, the black fog spreading out gathered and turned into a ray of black light that shot at Wang Wei. It was so fast that it immediately pierced through Wang Wei's chest. Large amounts of blood sprayed out from Wang Wei's chest, and then he fell from the sky. This change was so sudden that it caused everyone's expressions to change greatly. The man in black gasped before withdrawing all his greed and immediately retreating. Master Void was the same, but his eyes lit up, and as he retreated, he charged at the seriously injured Wang Wei. I'll take this opportunity to end this person and resolve a bit of the hatred in my heart. Although Master Void was seriously injured, he was still at the Nirvana Shatterer stage. At this moment, he moved like lightning and appeared next to Wang Wei. He then raised his hand and mercilessly smashed down on Wang Wei's head. He grinned and shouted, "Since you dared to help that little bastard die." While Wang Lin retreated, he also saw Wang Wei get thrown away after being seriously injured. He immediately stopped and charged toward Wang Wei. However, he wasn't as fast as Master Void, who had closed in on Wang Wei and had already lifted his hand. An earthy yellow glow appeared in Master Void's right hand. His hand contained the peak power of an early-stage Nirvana Shatterer cultivator. Just at this moment, Wang Lin didn't have time to think. The ancient god furnace appeared around him. He pointed at Wang Wei and shouted, "Change positions!" A light covered Wang Wei, and the moment Master Void's hand smashed down, he disappeared and was replaced by Wang Lin. Wang Lin's right eye flashed blue the moment Master Void's palm descended, and the azure light shield appeared between them. Master Void's hand smashed into the shield. The shield sank and pressed down on Wang Lin's chest, causing him to cough out blood. His body was pushed back and his eyes became bloodshot. Then he arrived next to the unconscious Wang Wei. He grabbed Wang Wei and retreated. As he did so, he reached into Wang Wei's clothes to grab a pill. He then crushed the wax around the pill and threw it into Wang Wei's mouth. Brothers, have you not yet hit the like button for the video? Wish that the like button for the video would be hit. Chapter 1063. Xing Lin's words before being possessed. Master Void stared at Wang Lin. After being forced to suppress his anger for so long, he couldn't hold it in anymore. At this moment, he forgot that he shouldn't be losing his mind so easily with his cultivation level drop, and charged at Wang Lin. "Little bastard, I am going to skin you alive today." Wang Lin quickly retreated, and his eyes turned cold. Just as Master Void chased after Wang Lin, the dark mist filled with spells suddenly expanded once more, and this time the ulcer was thrown out. Although he looked pale, he wasn't in a bad state. The moment he rushed out, the black fog turned into the black light that injured Wang Wei, and it charged at the All-Seer. The All-Seer's eyes lit up. He charged out, and his right hand touched between his eyebrows. A ray of 7-colored light shot out from between his eyebrows and collided with the black light. There was a bang when the 7-colored light and the black light collapsed. The All-Seer borrowed this force and retreated without hesitation. This sudden change shook Master Void's mind. However, it didn't make him give up on killing Wang Lin. He actually moved even faster. When the old man on the gourd saw that even the All-Seer was defeated, his face filled with horror. He retreated without hesitation, but he was too late. The churning of the black fog reached a peak, and the earth-shattering rumbles continued. Then a muffled groan could be heard as Bei Lu was mercilessly thrown outside the black fog, and blood sprayed everywhere. The demonic energy around Bei Lu that was scattered quickly gathered. His eyes were filled with dense resentment. Behind him, the black fog quickly contracted, and in an instant, the fog shrank back into the armored ancient devil. The ancient devil's right hand held a 30-feet-long black blade and moved forward. He wasn't fast, but he wasn't slow either. By his second step, he was already before the old man on the gourd. The old man on the gourd revealed fear in his eyes and was about to retreat. However, just as he was about to retreat, the ancient devil stepped past him and the black blade casually swept by the old man. An unimaginable sharp energy caused the old man's expression to change greatly. Without time to think, the gourd under his feet blocked before him and his right palm hit the gourd. However, just as a spell came from the gourd, the blade flashed by and the gourd made a crackling sound as it split in half. When the old man looked down, he was startled to find that his body was already cut in half. Even his origin soul didn't have time to escape. It was destroyed by that blade while it was still in his body. All of this happened in an instant. Ancient Devil Tajia didn't pause after he passed by the old man on the gourd. The old man's body suddenly collapsed. This scene caused everyone to suck in a breath of cold air. The man in black was filled with even more fear and escaped even faster. Drops of blood dripped from the blade. The ancient devil revealed a hideous expression and then chased after Beilu. Beilu, back then, I didn't kill you because our ancestors were once the same clan, but since you came looking for death, this devil can only fulfill your wish. Bullshit. Back then, we had an agreement that I'd take the body and you take the memories. If you hadn't backed out on our deal, that body would been mine. Beilu roared as he retreated. The armored ancient devil revealed a smile of mockery as he held the blade and said, "It was just that I was a bit faster. If I acted later, then our positions would have switched." As he spoke, he held the blade and slashed down at Beilu. "Reveal your demon spirit form for this devil." A shockingly large blade appeared in the world. It was like a blade that could split the sky in half. When the ancient devil chopped down, a thunderous rumble could be heard. A ray of blade energy hundreds of thousands of feet long suddenly appeared and mercilessly swept toward Beilu, causing his expression to change greatly. The blade was so fast that he didn't have time to dodge before it landed on him. The blade's energy penetrated Beilu's body and landed on the ground. A loud rumble came from the collapsing ground as a gully of unknown depth appeared. Beilu's body was split in half and collapsed into a pile of flesh and blood. However, as his body collapsed, a green demonic light flew out into the air and immediately turned into an ancient demon that was of 1,000 feet tall. This was ancient demon Beilu's real body. As soon as he appeared, he retreated at a shocking speed. The ancient devil let out a cold snort and chased after with his blade. As for the others, he doesn't consider them threats at all. Aside from the ancient demon, the only other person he had to pay attention to was the disgusting ancient god aura that he had noticed when he appeared. While he chased Beilu, the ancient devil coldly looked at Wang Lin in the distance. Wang Lin was moving as fast as he could to dodge the mad dog-like Master Void, but his speed was still far too slow compared to Master Void's at this moment of crisis. Wang Lin took out the Tattoo Clan's Wither tattoo and placed it on his body, making his speed immediately reach a peak. Go to where the palace was. My wife is there. She was awake before Master was possessed, so she must have gotten a message. Wang Wei's voice came from behind Wang Lin. His injuries had completely healed. After speaking, he left Wang Lin and charged at Master Void. Wang Lin immediately changed directions without pausing. He arrived before the collapsed palace in a flash, and with a sweep of his divine sense, he found the unconscious Hu Huan. When he got near Hu Huan, Wang Lin gathered some fire origin energy in his hand and pointed to between her eyebrows without hesitation. The fire origin energy swept through her body and awakened her. "Senior, please quickly open the passage to leave this place." Wang Lin didn't have time to explain and quickly sent a message to Hu Huan when she awakened. After Hu Huan awakened, there was a trace of confusion in her eyes, but she quickly recovered. She got up and both of her hands formed a seal. Then she pointed at the sky. A rumble echoed across the sky, and then 6 pillars of light came crashing down within 100 feet of Hu Huan. In the distance, Wang Wei's right hand formed a seal, creating a curtain of water that trapped Master Void. Killing intent appeared in his eyes, but this was obviously not the time to fight. He let out a cold snort, and then the water-trapping Master Void suddenly turned into countless swords and rapidly shrank. Without waiting for the result, Wang Wei immediately appeared next to Hu Huan and Wang Lin. The pillar of light flashed, and the 3 of them immediately disappeared. At the same time, the man in black also arrived in a panic. He charged into the pillars of light and disappeared. Master Void's body was surrounded by water swords. As they stabbed at him, he let out a roar and a storm of yellow soil appeared. There were sounds of collisions as he managed to block the attacks, but he coughed out blood. This made him shiver coldly, and it awakened him from his crazed state. Everything that happened before would have looked incredible to other people. How could he have lost control of his killing intent and attacked at this moment of crisis? If he had been a bit careless, he would have died here. Master Void's eyes were filled with fear and bitterness. His body flickered, and he charged directly at the pillars of light. As for the Alzer, he unexpectedly disappeared, and no one knew where he had gone. Earlier I noticed that I was losing control of myself, but now I am certain I didn't think the first Heaven's blight would arrive so quickly. Master Void rushed into the pillar of light and disappeared. Ancient Demon Beilu, who was being chased by the ancient devil, let out angry roars. When he saw that the transfer array to exit this place had opened, he immediately rushed toward it without hesitation. However, just as he got close, the ancient devil chasing him revealed a bloodthirsty gaze. He let go of the blade in his hand and suddenly opened his arms. "Devil devours all spirits." As he shouted, the armor around the ancient devil released boundless black fog, and black fog suddenly filled the world once more. The black fog turned into a giant mount that attempted to ruthlessly devour the escaping Beilu. Beilu let out a miserable groan before his body collapsed with a bang. Half of his body was devoured, and the remaining half turned into the size of an ordinary person. He then disappeared into the transfer array. The black fog quickly absorbed half of Beilu's spirit body. Then the fog wrapped around Tajia and turned into a dragon. It rushed at the transfer array and smashed toward the sky. The sky was smashed open as he charged upwards. "None of you can escape!" As for Wang Lin and the celestial cloud couple, the three of them immediately appeared in the palace on the 8th floor. Hu Huan quickly said, "When Master talked to me earlier, he only said one sentence. Rain Celestial Realm Temple, Origin Soul Crystal, Qing Shuang's blood." Wang Wei's eyes narrowed. Before he could speak, the man in black and Master Void came from the transfer array. At the same time, Ancient Demon Beilu's miserable spirit body also appeared. Also, at this moment, the ground everyone was standing on collapsed. While the ground collapsed, strands of devilish energy came out from the cracks. When the ground completely collapsed, the dragon formed by devilish energy rushed out. It opened its mouth that could devour the world and attempted to devour everyone. At this instant, Wang Lin was replaying the words Hu Huan just said in his mind. "Qing Shuang's blood, Qing Shuang's blood." The moment the devil dragon arrived, Wang Lin slapped his bag of holding, and the celestial pagoda appeared. With no time to care about how precious the celestial tower was, Wang hit it with his palm, causing it to collapse, and Qing Shuang's body appeared before him. "I am sorry." He secretly apologized to Zhou Yi. Wang Lin seized all the time he had as he stabbed Qing Shuang's index finger and squeezed out a drop of blood. Then he immediately threw that drop of blood at the devil dragon before them. Thank you all for the support, especially for the large golden gifts from Leo. Leo is so touched he could cry. By the end of this month, Leo's video is facing a challenge in the popular rankings. Hoping to get more likes for the video. You are listening to a completely free audiobook on the Leo Audio YouTube channel. If you enjoy the story, please like the video to motivate the channel. Support Leo with a cup of coffee through the description link or on the screen. If you want to hear any other stories, just comment and let Leo know. Thank you very much for watching the video. Chapter 1064, The Identity of the Man in Black. This insignificant drop of blood was thrown by Wang Lin at the black gas devil dragon that charged out from the collapsed ground. The devil dragon opened its mouth, releasing large amounts of cold energy, and attempted to devour everyone. However, just at this moment, the drop of Qing Shuang's blood touched a strand of black gas that came from the devil dragon. In an instant, while everyone was dumbfounded, sizzling sounds came from the black fog. It was like splashing water on hot coal. As the sizzling sound echoed, the black fog unexpectedly dissipated, as if it couldn't withstand this drop of celestial blood. The drop of blood penetrated the black fog and landed on the devil dragon's head. The devil dragon suddenly paused, but that was immediately followed by a painful and angry roar. As it roared, the devil dragon's body twisted and swept the area, causing a loud rumble. As if a giant pair of hands was stirring up the place, all the buildings collapsed and the entire floor was in ruins. Wang Lin's eyes lit up, and he squeezed out more of Qing Shuang's blood and mercilessly threw it. Then he waved his hand and the powerful origin energy in his body rushed out. The blood immediately exploded into a blood mist that shot forward. The blood mist immediately touched the devil dragon. After coming into contact the blood again, the devil dragon struggled even more intensely. Roars continued to echo, and the devil dragon's body rapidly contracted. It was like a whirlwind, and after all the black fog withdrew, the ancient devil appeared before everyone. The black armor was now stained with several drops of blood. It released strands of red gas that lingered around the ancient devil. No matter how the ancient devil waved his hands, he couldn't expel it. Even when he tried to wipe it, his hand went through it as if it wasn't even there. Qing Lin, is this the plan you came up with to resist me after countless years of scheming? If whoever occupies your body attempts to kill your descendant, all spells become useless. Your spells have no effect, and your body is restrained by the blood of your descendant. This is no longer changing laws, but creating laws. You re so powerful, Qing Lin. The ancient devil had a hideous expression as he charged at Wang Lin. This devil wants to see how the mere blood of a body can make me yield. The ancient devil yelled as his right hand reached out. The black blade suddenly appeared in his hand and he slashed at Wang Lin. I can kill Qing Lin's descendant, but I can kill you, you puny ancient god. Wang Lin's expression turned pale. This blade energy was huge, and not even the old man on the gourd could escape it. Wang Lin's mind was extremely clear as the ancient god furnace appeared around him, and he pointed at the man in black who was watching from a distance. He didn't choose Master Void, because it was a moment of danger, and so he absolutely had to succeed. Although Master Void was seriously injured, he was still at the Nirvana Shatter stage, so Wang Lin wasn't confident. The man in black's expression changed greatly when he felt a light surround him. The blade energy came so close that Wang Lin could even feel the oppressive sharpness coming from it. Change positions, Wang Lin yelled, and the light around the furnace reached a peak. The man in black's eyes were filled with terror, and just as he was about to be transferred, he no longer cared about hiding his identity. The fire dragon mark appeared between his eyebrows and directly charged out, turning into a fire dragon covered in flames. The moment the fire dragon appeared, it let out a roar and surrounded the man in black in an attempt to resist the power of the ancient god furnace. As a result, there was a force to resist it. With this hindrance, the blade closed in and passed through Qing Shuang. Due to the law Qing Lin created, the blade energy did no harm to Qing Shuang and landed directly on Wang Lin. If this blade energy landed, even Wang Lin's ancient god body would be split in half. After all, he was only a 5-star ancient god. The moment the blade energy descended, Wang Lin's right eye shined blue, and the azure light shield appeared and collided with the blade energy. There was a heaven-shaking bang, and a crack appeared in the middle of the azure light shield. Although it didn't break, it was damaged. Although Wang Lin hadn't had it for long, it had been able to resist all attacks so far. Even someone as powerful as Master Void could only push it back and not cause it to crack. More and more cracks appeared on the azure light shield. Wang Lin took this moment to retreat with Qing Shuang's body, but no matter how much he ran, he couldn't escape the blade energy. Cold sweat came from his forehead, but the moment it appeared, it turned into ice crystals due to the chill from the blade energy. At this moment of life and death, Wang Lin no longer cared about hiding his identity, and he let out a roar. The 5 ancient god stars between his eyebrows shined brightly and rotated until it looked like a vortex had appeared between his eyebrows. Powerful ancient god power filled his body and rushed into the ancient god furnace. This caused the light around the ancient god furnace to become even brighter, and it lit up the entire world. Transform. Change position. Wang Lin roared. His voice even became a bit hoarse during the roar. When it landed in people's ears, they felt as if their minds were being torn. As he let out that heart-wrenching roar, the fire dragon around the man in black seemed unable to withstand the sudden increase in power form, the light. The man in black quickly retreated and fled. However, before he could escape, light filled his body and he disappeared. At the moment the azure light shield seemed like it couldn't withstand the blade energy anymore, Wang Lin also disappeared. When Wang Lin reappeared, he was where the man in black was, and the man in black appeared before the blade energy. The moment man in black appeared, his eyes were filled with blade energy, and the blade energy swept by. Popping sounds came from his body, and then it was split in half. However, When his body shattered, his origin soul escaped with the help of the fire dragon. His origin soul was bleak, and his eyes were filled with fear. However, the danger wasn't over yet. The blade energy that destroyed his body shot straight after his origin soul. The blade energy was about to penetrate his origin soul. The man in black quickly spread out a divine sense message filled with anxiety and horror. Lord Ancient Devil, I am the Supreme seventh disciple, Lu Ho. The moment the man in black sent out the message, the blade energy suddenly moved to the side and bypassed the man in black before going after Wang Lin once more. All of this happened in an extremely short period of time. Wang Wei and Hu Huan both moved and used spells at the same time to resist the blade energy chasing Wang Lin. Wang Lin had survived through luck, but he revealed a ferocious expression as he stared at the Ancient Devil. Ancient Devil Tajia stepped out, but he didn't go toward Wang Lin, and instead arrived next to the origin soul of Man in Black. After grabbing the origin soul, he stepped out once more, and arrived next to Wang Wei and Hu Huan, who were resisting the blade energy. The moment Ancient Devil Tajia closed in, he opened his mouth and let out a roar. Roar! The roars of the people of the Ancient Order were all powerful, but, like spells, they contained different abilities. Although the roar of an ancient devil wasn't as strong as an ancient god's roar, it created a devilish sound that would invade the mind. As he roared, a giant black shadow with a single horn appeared behind Ancient Devil Tajia. This giant shadow was like the source of all devils. As Tajia roared, his shadow also opened its mouth and let out a roar. Hu Huan's body trembled, and she immediately coughed out blood. Wang Wei also coughed out blood and became dispirited. However, he clenched his teeth, grabbed Hu Huan, and retreated. His hand formed seals and countless pillars of water appeared before him like crazy. At this moment of crisis, Wang Wei was going all out. The water pillars appeared one after another, and in the blink of an eye, thousands of water pillars appeared. However, before Ancient Devil Tajia, this was all child's play. With a roar, all of the water pillars collapsed. As the water pillars continued to collapse, Wang Wei and Hu Huan coughed out more blood, and they charged toward Wang Lin. With a pale face, Hu Huan's hands quickly formed seals, creating restrictions that fused with the water pillars. However, the water pillars continued to collapse due to Ancient Devil Tajia's roar. If the two of them were like this, there was no need to talk about Master Void. He immediately coughed out blood and his eyes became bleak. He quickly retreated and his hand formed a seal, causing countless grains of yellow sand to surround him. However, just as the sand appeared and before they could form a shield, it collapsed. All of the sand was blown into Master Void's body, throwing him back and causing blood to spray from his body. Only Bei Lu was barely able to withstand it. As he was a member of the Ancient Order, he only retreated. As for Wang Lin, popping sounds came from his body under power of the roar of Ancient Devil Tajia. He coughed out blood, but his expression became even more ferocious. Roar! Wang Lin also let out a roar of anger with a ferocious expression. This was the roar of an ancient god. Wang Lin's body grew like crazy, and at this moment, he could no longer be concerned with hiding his status as an ancient god. His body grew to thousands of feet tall, looking as if he could support the world. 5 stars rapidly rotated between his eyebrows and bursts of ancient god energy surrounded him. What was more bizarre was that the vermilion bird tattoo seemed to have fused with him, so it grew along with his ancient god body. It was like fresh blood had imprinted on his upper body, and the tail spread across Wang Lin's face. At this moment, Wang Lin looked like an ancient god and a vermilion bird. As time goes on, a heavy dizziness is setting in. My mind can't cope. Tomorrow I will continue to burst forth with all my might. In 12 hours that will be doubling the likes for the video, hoping that everyone is ready with 2 likes for Leo. Thank you. Chapter rank. Aside from certain special circumstances, there is only one way for countries below rank 5 to increase in rank. An individual's rise in cultivation from core formation, nascent soul, spirit severing, and soul transformation will raise a country's rank. If someone in a rank cultivation country reaches the core formation stage, then that country will automatically be raised to a rank cultivation country. If they have a nascent soul cultivator, then the country is raised to a rank cultivation country. Following this, when someone reaches the spirit severing stage, the country is raised to a rank cultivation country. With soul transformation, a rank 5 cultivation country. Rising in rank requires a large amount of luck. The higher it goes, the harder it is to raise in rank. Ranks 2 and 3 may take thousands of years. As for ranks 3 to 4 and 5 to 6, tens of thousands of years is not enough at times. Although the process is difficult, it is the only way. As time goes by, there will be people who are talented enough, lucky enough to have some kind of encounter or receive help from others. Someone who meets the requirements needed for their country to rise in rank will eventually appear. These people will without a doubt become the leaders of their cultivation countries. After a cultivation country reaches rank 4, they have the right to participate in the foreign battleground. However, in terms of power, rank 4 cultivation countries can compare with rank 5 cultivation countries at all. The gap in cultivation level is not something that numbers can make up. For example, the most powerful cultivator of a rank cultivation country is at the late stage of spirit severing. If you put them into a rank country, they will instantly be second class and will look like a fragile child before the soul transformation experts. It is not over-exaggerating to say that without any special circumstances, a soul transformation cultivator can wipe out a rank country. This kind of thing has happened more than once before. So, in reality, the role of the rank 4 cultivation countries in the foreign battleground is really just to fight for the rank 5 cultivation countries that back them up. The real decisive battles have to be fought by the rank cultivation countries. Once a cultivation country has reached rank 5, the first big problem they encounter is the lack of resources and materials. A large country must maintain countless cultivators. If they can solve this problem, the country will collapse. Robbing lower-rank cultivation countries does not solve the problem of material and resource shortages. The only real solution is to rise to a rank cultivation country. To rise from rank 5 to rank 6 is not as simple as a single person's cultivation level increasing. In order to rise up in rank as a high-rank country, the only way pertains to the foreign battleground. The foreign battleground is a place filled with cracks in space. It is an endless battleground filled with rifts in space and void winds that can easily kill a spirit-severing cultivator. Once someone is hit by the void wind, if they aren't at least soul transformation cultivators, they will turn to dust. Aside from the void winds, the most dangerous things are the rifts in space that can randomly appear anywhere. Once caught, not even a soul transformation cultivator will have an easy time. Only the experts from rank cultivation countries can move as they wish in the foreign battleground. Every few hundred years there is a huge war in the foreign battleground between the rank cultivation countries. This battle is allowed and promoted by the cultivation union. Anyone who can win 1,000 times in a row will have their cultivation country raised to rank 6 and receive a large amount of resources and cultivation methods. In addition, the winning country can send one person to the cultivation union to learn a special cultivation method. That person's cultivation level will be brought to a level beyond soul transformation. Of course, the most important reward that makes all of the rank cultivation countries crazy is that they will be given their own planet by the cultivation union to use as their new home. Cultivators care a lot about the spiritual energy of the land and the naturally formed treasures of the land. It can even be said that the basis of cultivation is spiritual energy and materials. Having your own planet is the symbol of a rank 6 cultivation country, but the cultivation union is very strict about the requirements to become a rank 6 cultivation country. The first step is to win 1,000 times in a row in the foreign battleground to acquire their own planet. The second step is that within a given period of time there must be several rank 1 to 5 cultivation countries on the planet of the rank 6 cultivation country. The battle at the foreign battleground is the only way for rank 5 cultivation country to be promoted. This rule applies to almost every single cultivation planet. In general, the rank cultivation country on the planet 1T intervene between the battles of rank cultivation countries. But everything has an exception. If a rank 6 cultivation country keeps the rank 5 cultivation countries down, then there is no way for a second rank cultivation country to appear on the same planet. However, these situations are very rare. Various rank 5 cultivation countries speculate that rising from rank 6 to 7 has to do with how many rank 6 cultivation countries there are on a planet.